Xbox On. Welcome to Xbox On, a podcast with one host about one console, Xbox. I am said host Jesse DeRosa, and on today's episode, we'll be taking a look at the latest Xbox news for the week of June 9th, 2025, including the Xbox Game Showcase has just concluded, so let's talk about all the announcements that were made and where this puts Xbox in the near future. Summer Games Fest also just passed, so let's get into all the additional game announcements that were made at that show. It's the busiest time of the year for game reveals and news, so sit back, enjoy a hefty episode of this week's show, and let's get going. Welcome to episode 315 of the Xbox On podcast. You guys, coming to you here on a Sunday afternoon, late Sunday afternoon. Just finished watching the Xbox 2025 Games Showcase here on a Sunday afternoon, early June. Summer skies, kids are outside playing with balls. Just kidding. Kids are inside playing with iPads. Guys, always feels weird when we do the podcast out of schedule because this is such a regimented show, but I'm excited to get here to talk to you all today about the Xbox Game Showcase. So, not only that, but this has been a busy weekend. It's the busiest week in the year for gaming news, or at least for us, because we get the Xbox Showcase, and then there's the Summer Game Fest, and then all those other little smaller shows that, I'll be quite frank, I don't care about. The Devolver Digital show, I'm sorry, not trying to be disrespectful. It's just only so much time and attention and energy I can expense. But I am very excited to talk to you guys about what's going on with Xbox, as well as Summer Game Fest, which had some announcements worth talking about. Let's just put it that way. Guys, how do we start? I'm kind of in a weird headspace because really the past few days of my life, my whole world has been about the Switch 2. I just got mine in the mail actually yesterday after it being a few days late. So I've been like all up Super Mario World's ass, and now it's like shifting gears back into Xbox. You know, today I was really excited. I was like, this is going to get me so hyped on Xbox because Xbox historically puts on such great summer showcase events. Say what you will about Xbox, about, a while ago was they have no games. Now it's all their games on other consoles. Now it's like, why would you buy an Xbox? Whatever. Say what you want. But when it comes to the games, they really turn out at these showcase events and really get you excited about Xbox. But if I'm just being honest, early impressions, I felt like this was probably the weakest Xbox showcase in quite a while. I mean, I would say probably since pre-pandemic era, this is probably the weakest. In the Xbox Series S and X generation, this is probably the weakest Xbox showcase, in my opinion. And it's not to say it was a bad one, because I don't think it was a bad one. It was just like it was like a solid showing, whereas usually it's like a very blown away kind of reaction I feel after every showcase. So we'll get into that. I mean, it's not like, oh, that was shit, there was nothing good there, there's no reason to have an Xbox. Definitely playing to look forward to. It's just, I guess it was less about the games that were shown and more about what they chose to not show and what they chose to just kind of ignore as they focus on adding more games to the slate instead of managing the portfolio of previously announced titles. But we'll get into all of that. So what I want to do is, we'll touch on those early impressions. Kind of my overview is it was a solid showcase, but easily the most disappointing outing we've had from Xbox in the generation. Now we'll go through, talk about what all was announced in the order in which it was announced, and then we'll kind of go through some more specific detailed thoughts, and then we'll go through Summer Games Fest and go through that as well. But we'll spend the bulk of our time here talking about Xbox, of course, as their showcase is it's the real meat and potatoes of what's going on around this time of year for us here as Xbox fans, and with this being an Xbox podcast. Now we'll also just mention, I should probably put this out here, obviously, the show's a little different this week. You're getting this show on a Monday morning. So, yes, the podcast is just coming to you 3 days early this week. So, next week, things will be back to normal Thursday, but it will be a longer wait between episodes with this week's going live on a Monday instead of a Thursday. So, it just is the way it is. Something's got to change in the schedule to accommodate this. Back in the day, I used to do like bonus episodes. It'd be like, oh, the Xbox Showcase, here's just another episode. But then it just ended up being this thing where like one episode cannibalizes the other because they come out so close together. So it just doesn't make sense to do it that way. So we'll talk about all the big blowout news, fester on it, sit on it, and think about it for a week plus. And then next week on Thursday, we'll be able to talk about all the follow-up stories that happened following these events, get everyone's take about how the event was, what they're looking forward to, what they thought about it. So I definitely look forward to hearing from all of you guys about the event when we reconvene next week. But yeah, this week's show is going live early 9 a.m. Eastern time on a Monday morning. morning, and then we'll reconvene next Thursday. Not this Thursday, the 12th, but next Thursday, the 19th. So it's going to be a nice little week and a half break for all you guys that are forced to suffer through Xbox On each and every week. All right, guys, without further ado, let's get in. Know what I've been playing, know what I've been eating, no opening shenanigans. Let's just hop right into the Xbox Showcase starting now. All right, guys, so let's just start off with the Xbox Showcase. You know, the little countdown, the 30-minute countdown on YouTube on the stream leading up to the showcase starting just showed this B-roll footage of, like, this fishing. There's, like, these scenes of guys just fishing in what looks like the countryside, and I guess that it was something Fallout related. I was like, this can't be Outer Worlds 2. This has to be... I know Outer Worlds 2 is the big game they're pushing for this event because it's their big fall game, but this doesn't look like Outer Worlds. It looks more like Fallout, and then lo and behold, for some reason they ended up using that as like teaser footage leading up to the show starting, and that is exactly what that footage was for Fallout 76, but we'll get into that. I don't know why they did that, but anyway, the event starts off, and the first thing that was shown was a trailer for The Outer Worlds 2, which was like, you know what, that's kind of smart. You know, start like bookend with Outer Worlds. It's your big game for the fall. Just kind of be like, hey, stay tuned till after the show. We're gonna have this big Outer Worlds 2 direct thing for 30 minutes. So be sure to stick around for that. And that's exactly what they opened up with. So I was like, okay, that's a pretty smart way to start out the showcase. They put a date on it, so now we have an official date, October 29th, right around Halloween. We get Outer Worlds 2, of course, day one Game Pass, and the big controversy that happened as soon as the showcase ended, as soon as the credits rolled and people started taking to Twitter to let people know what they personally think about everything in the world, everyone starts bitching and moaning because on Steam you can see the pre-order price for Outer Worlds 2 is $79.99, and of course Xbox announced a few weeks back that by the end of the year we will see $80 games from Xbox. So this is just them saying, hey, we warned you, here it is, $80 games. Now, you think about Grand Theft Auto 6, no doubt is going to be at least an $80 video game. It's pretty safe to assume that. We know $80 games are imminent from all corners of the, from all publishers and all corners of the gaming sphere. So it's not like these are the only guys who are going to be doing it. Nintendo really broke the seal by saying, fuck you, here's $80 Mario Kart World, right? But I guess this is the thing, is you would expect most parties to hit with their heaviest hitters when they introduce the $80 price tag. So for PlayStation, maybe you would expect them to be like, $80, here it is, it's whatever, the next God of War game or something that they just know everyone's going to jizz over, the next Spider-Man game, what have you, right? For Xbox, you would assume that they would pull the $80 price tag out for a Gears of War or a Halo game, something that is that level. Maybe Fable, but not The Outer Worlds, a sequel to a game that was actually kind of like a AA style game, like a low-end AAA, high AA kind of game published by Take-Two's secondary publishing arm before Microsoft acquired, and took over this team. So there's just something about that where it's like, I'm all for raising the price of video games if that's what we need to do to make the industry more sustainable, but this just doesn't seem like the kind of game you really start that with. I mean, I don't necessarily think this will be the game they start with because I think there is another game that could potentially come out a week or so before this game that will also be $80 from Xbox, and that game is called Call of Duty Black Ops 7, which we will get into later in the showcase, but that game doesn't have a date yet, and so I don't know. That's either going to be the week before Outer Worlds 2 or the week after Outer Worlds 2, but that game will no doubt be coming out within a few days, within half a month's time of Outer Worlds 2 releasing. So the trailer itself, nothing really new, just here's another trailer. It's kind of like a final release trailer. Here's the thing, guys, and I try to be honest. I know I've said this in the past on this podcast. It's like I have a really hard time, like, sometimes feigning, like, commentary on things that don't really warrant commentary. It's like, what do you want me to say? We've seen The Outer Worlds 2 like 100 times now. We know it's the big fall game. Like, what do you want me to say? Like, yes, if you played Outer Worlds 1, this looks like the sequel to that game. There's more content here. Here's a new trailer. Here's a release date. So nothing to say. I'm already bought into this game. I will definitely be there. Game Pass day one. I'll boot it up and play it when it comes out. I'm looking forward to it. It's by no means my most anticipated game of the year, but it's definitely a must-play game for me, and I'm very much looking forward to it. So I just don't have anything else to add to it. But I do think that is a relatively solid opener, and also a very, it makes a lot of sense as this is the game they're pushing for the holiday season. So a nice way to bookend the show by opening and closing with this one. So Outer Worlds 2. Okay, cool. Let's keep going. Second game. Announcement. High on Life 2. Okay, that's good. That's, High on Life did pretty well. It was a day one Game Pass game. This is the game written by Josh Rowland. Is that his name? Am I confusing him with the actor that plays Thanos? I don't fucking know. Probably. This is the High on Life, the guys that did Rick and Morty, the video game with the gun that's an alien that talks and makes the raunchy humor that people really, really enjoyed. This is a sequel to it. It looks like he plays a different character. I don't know. I never finished High on Life. I didn't enjoy it all that much. I only played it for like 2 or 3 hours. But yeah, hey, new game, new sequel, tons of new enemy weapon aliens. Looks fun. Actually looks, from a gameplay perspective, really amped up compared to the second one. It looks like it has a lot more focus on different varieties of guns and weapons and combat types, and it looks more kinetic. It looks a little more like momentum based and movement based. I don't know. It looks more like a traditional shooter, where the first one was kind of slow and steady. This one looks like it's a little more action packed. So it looks fun. And I know people like the last one. So this will be kind of a layup for Xbox. It's also a day one Game Pass game like the first one was. And hey, it's coming pretty imminently. I love this. Game is announced in June, coming out in winter 2025. So it's probably a December release. That's a pretty good deal. Short wait time, day one Game Pass, follow up to a game people already liked. I think that's a pretty great way to follow up your opening announcement for your showcase. High on Life 2, probably not for me, but I know it's a huge win for Xbox, so pretty solid way to continue on this opening of the showcase. All right, cool. Now what is next? Ooh, the announcement of the third entry in the Plague Tale series, called Resonance: A Plague Tale Legacy. Okay, coming out next year, no specific release date, but 2026, day one Game Pass, just like the last entry was. Another great follow-up, a game that is very heavily associated with Xbox due to its Game Pass tie-in, a game that, follow-up to a game that was really well regarded when it came out. When did Plague Tale Requiem come out? Was that 2 years ago, 3 years ago? That game has been on my backlog. It's been on my to-do list for quite a while. But again, it looks good. It looks like more Plague Tale. I can't speak to it all that much because I never played the first two. I just know people really love them and that they look pretty great. It's got that kind of grim Last of Us feel to it, where it's like a brother and a sister, and the direness and the rats and the stealing bread to survive kind of deal going on, and people quite enjoy it. So I know this will be obviously this is going to be a big deal because the first two games were so well beloved that a third entry is kind of a no-brainer. So, okay, cool. Great way to follow up. Again, we got Outer Worlds 2, we got High on Life 2, we got Plague Tale Legacy, the third entry of the Plague Tale series. Okay, these are all sequels to beloved games that are either Xbox exclusive or have been heavily associated with Xbox. In fact, none of these are Xbox exclusive, so I'm going to take that back. But games that are heavily Xbox affiliated, heavily Game Pass affiliated. So great opening here. Now let's start to see, some Xbox exclusive games. Where's Everwild? Where's Perfect Dark? Well, next up, we get this trailer for Hardware. Immediately know it's Hardware. It shows a glass block. And I'm like, oh, what's happening here? And then you see this indentation start to shape into the form of a video game controller. I'm like, oh my God, is this the Sabile controller? Is this the Elite Series 3 controller? What is this? It's the ROG Xbox Ally X. It is the much leaked, long rumored Asus cross Xbox handheld device that's, we've all known is all but imminent, that a lot of people were speculating would show up at this showcase. Here it is, fourth announcement in. Pretty cool, right? Okay, that's nice. So they officially announced it. So there's two variants, and it works very much in an Xbox Series S, Series X parallel kind of way, where there is a white one and a black one. The black one is the more premium X model, the more expensive model, and the white one is the more economic base entry-level model. So let's talk about it a little bit. So it looks just like the leaked renderings and the leaked model. It looks like a controller where it like kind of hooks off the tablet form a little bit. So it's kind of uglier, but you can imagine it probably feels better in the hands. It's very ergonomic looking. It looks like an Asus ROG device. It has a very angular look, has the very jaggedy buttons and all that, but then it also has a lot of Xbox inspiration where the analog sticks look like they were removed straight off an Xbox. The triggers on the back look very much like Xbox. In fact, these are the same kinds of whatever they call their haptics, the kind of triggers, very similar. installed here on the back. It is the marriage between an Asus ROG Ally with an emphasis on the Xbox features. So it is a Windows 11 device. It is a portable PC tablet, not an Xbox. So when you boot it up, you're not running the Xbox version of Windows OS. You're running a Windows 11 PC. And it plays Steam, it plays Epic Game Store. You can do fucking BattleNet and BlizzNet and all the good nets, and the fucking one from Communist China and the one from Korea. If you like the fucking what's the one, League of Legends one that kids like these days. You can do all of those things on it. It's got the game bar. If you like that inferior PC Xbox experience, you got your game bar right there. But it is not, just let's be clear about this, it is not an Xbox handheld. You're not going to boot this up and it's like an Xbox portable. It plays Xbox games, but let's be perfectly clear about it. It plays Xbox games the way that your Windows PC plays Xbox games. It has the Xbox app. It plays Play Anywhere titles, so games that are released for PC and have cross-play and cross-progression and cross-availability between Xbox consoles and PC. It is an Xbox in that sense alone. Also, of course, cloud streaming through Xbox Game Pass Ultimate. So if you're a $20 a month Game Pass Ultimate subscriber, you can stream games that are on the Game Pass cloud catalog. So very much in the same way that any other tablet device is an Xbox, this thing is an Xbox as well. And I really want to drive this point home, not to kind of take the wind out of its sails. I do think it's a cool device. I am happy for people that they are excited, and I feel confident that they are going to refine and fine tune and add in some software overlay features to make this look and feel more Xbox centric, but this is not a from the ground up Xbox handheld. It has an Xbox button. They put the Xbox logo button on there, but it is not an Xbox console from Microsoft from the ground up running Xbox OS, which I know is based on Windows, but shut up, it's not that. What am I trying to say? Okay, so let's get into specs a little bit. So the X model, the ROG Xbox Ally X, the sexier model, is running an AMD Ryzen AI Z2 Extreme chip, whereas the regular Ally model, the white one, is running an Ryzen Z2A chip. So same chip, but one is the beefed up top of the line version and one is the standard edition. And they both have pretty decent RAM, but the beefed up X model has 24 gigs of RAM and the entry level model has 16 gigs of RAM. Sounds pretty fucking good anyway. And then as far as onboard storage go, the X model has a terabyte of storage on board and the regular model has 512 gigs of storage on board. Does it sound like a Series X, Series S kind of parallel? Okay, that's what they're going for here. So yeah, it seems pretty good. They both have the same display. One of them has an additional USB Thunderbolt port, the nicer model, but for the most part, you're getting a pretty similar experience. One is just beefed up a little bit. And they made the point to say, I think Sarah Bond said, every game you see in this showcase will run on this ROG Xbox Ally device, which is a cool little marketing gimmick to say, to kind of push how capable this device will be and how, this really is, taking your Xbox and playing it on the go kind of experience. So I just want to back up because there was some news that happened shortly before this showcase that we actually didn't talk about on the show a few days ago, but I was going to really dig into next week. And that is that Windows Central reported that Xbox has apparently shelved or sidelined, not permanently shelved, but at least for now kind of put to the wayside, the idea of a from the ground up internally made Xbox handheld device, and that for now this ROG device would be their focus. Now that doesn't mean Xbox hardware is canceled. The follow-up next generation Xbox that will succeed the Series S and X console, that is very much in active development. It's very much still coming in the next year or two. But for now, this that handheld that they were building that everyone was hotly anticipating has kind of been pushed to the side while they focus on this device. And I think that is a huge red flag and a huge cause for concern, and honestly makes me way less interested in this ROG device because what it really says is that Xbox, Microsoft is not giving Xbox the free reign to really R&D and go nuts on a handheld when console sales are so bad, and so they're going to lean on third-party partners to kind of help lead the way with these half half-ass Xbox handhelds, and they're going to do some marketing tricks to say, hey, we really fully back this. This is the real Xbox handheld. Don't forget that thing Phil said in interviews about, making their own hand. Again, it's Xbox putting their fucking foot in their mouth, as always, where a year or two ago, Phil Spencer was talking to Ryan McCaffrey at IGN, and he was like, oh, I think Xbox should have a home console that plays games natively. And everyone's like, oh, yeah, fuck yeah, Xbox is getting a handheld. They're going to get a Switch like Nintendo has. And then here we are, fast forward a year or two later, and they're like, Asus is making a Windows PC tablet. We put a fucking Xbox logo on it. That's a real Xbox handheld device. Go buy that shit, TBD on the price. It's like, all right, come on, guys. I don't, again, I'm not trying to take the wind out of the sails. I see that a lot of people are excited about this device. I am happy for people who are excited for this device, but this is not it. This is not the Xbox handheld we've been waiting for. I cannot fault someone who's like, hey, this thing looks sick. I want to buy one. Sure, there's still a lot of great reasons to buy this device. It is a very compelling thing. I mean, the ROG Ally version 1, before it was heavily Xbox affiliated, was already a really compelling handheld device. So I totally see the appeal. I totally see why people are excited about this, and I totally respect that. But I just don't appreciate the obfuscation of like, hey, we kind of wink wink and nodded to a internally built from the ground up Xbox native handheld device, and now we're just kind of sweeping that under the rug and leaning into this thing where it's really more of a ROG Ally 2 that has an Xbox overlay to it and less of an Xbox handheld. So instead of beating that point home even further, let's just kind of move forward with I don't know. I worry that this is not so great an omen for the future of Xbox hardware, as we see hardware continue to just decline as they put more and more games on PlayStation, and Xbox as a hardware brand falls more and more into irrelevancy as they lean more and more on other hardware manufacturers to kind of promote their games and proliferate the content that they put out. But nonetheless, device looks cool. No price tag as of yet, but it is supposed to come out this holiday season, so hopefully we do learn about that price pretty soon. Here's my guess. I'll throw a random guess out there. Why not? Why the fuck not? I think the regular model will go for $599. I think it'll be a $600 device, and I think the X model will be $799. I think it's a $600 and an $800 model US. That is my guess. I hope I'm wrong and that they're much cheaper, but that's kind of the ballpark I'm thinking makes sense for these two devices. They will be pretty niche devices. Remember, because it is not an Xbox handheld, you can buy this thing, boot it up, and buy all your games on Steam and just subscribe to Game Pass. There's no incentive for you to give Xbox any money whatsoever. So if Xbox wants to be profitable at all from this device, the only way to do so is to put a premium on the price tag to make a little bit off the top of the cost of the hardware itself, off the sale of the hardware. And so that's the only thing they can do is make money off the Xbox licensing that has been injected into this device, because there is no money to be made from someone buying this and using it as a glorified Steam Deck. So just going to put that out there. Hope it's cheaper, but that's kind of where I'm leaning on the price. Would I buy one of these? As of now, I have no intention on buying one of these. I would love to play with one. I think they look really cool. If the price was like stupid competitive, I might change my mind, but it's not that I won't buy one because it's not. Well, actually, that's not true. Yes, this is not the Xbox native hardware handheld device that we were hoping for, and so that is a huge buzzkill for me. But the other reason is because this is going to limit your ability to play Xbox games. I don't bring handhelds out and about, Like, I just got the Switch 2. Today, my girlfriend and I went to the grocery store. We went out for breakfast and we went to the grocery store, right? And she was like, hey, I'll drive. Usually I drive, but this morning she's like, I'll drive. So we hop into her car, and I thought, wow, I could bring the brand new Switch 2 that I've had for like 17 hours with me. She can drive to the grocery store and I can play Mario Kart in the passenger seat. Wouldn't that be a cool idea? Take Mario Kart on the go. And I thought about it for a second and I said, nah, I'm not 7 years old anymore. I'm not going to bring my fucking Switch with me in the car. And so I left the Switch at home and we went out and about like normal adults, and I didn't bring my video games with me. So it's not that I need to have a console that runs games natively. I have no problem streaming. I have no problem with limited features, that this is going to be a device that can run a lot of modern Xbox games natively, but not every Xbox game natively. That's not a problem for me. It's just that I just don't need a device that can. Well, let me back up. The whole point of that anecdote was to say, I have that Logitech G Cloud device that does game streaming, right? I love that thing. It feels great in the hands. It has great battery life. Games look and run great on it. And I use it all the time to play Xbox. And I lay in bed, or I sit on the couch and watch baseball, or I just lounge around and play Xbox on that handheld device. And I have no qualms about it. What's the big limitation on the device, other than the fact that you can't download games natively? It's that I'm limited pretty much to just playing games that are on Game Pass, right? The problem with this device is the same problem. It's going to be a much more hefty, expensive, premium device, and it's going to have the same limitation, which is that I can only play games like Quantum Break and Halo Infinite and Sea of Thieves on it, because these are games on Game Pass. These are games on PC that I can download on the ROG Xbox Ally, or I can stream them, but I can't play Sonic Unleashed from 2008 on the Xbox 360 via backwards compatibility on this thing. You can't do it, because it's not a Game Pass game, because it's a third-party game. Because even though it's in my Xbox library and I can sit down in front of my TV and play that game backwards compatibility on my Xbox Series X, I can't do that on the ROG Xbox Ally X. So why would I want to buy this thing for $800 or whatever it's going to be, when it's just like not going to do anything much more impressively or much more capable than what my $250 fucking Logitech G Cloud can do. And I get that this thing can run games natively. You can download Fallout 76 and Forza Horizon 5 on the device and run it, offline even. I get that. That's cool. But like, I don't know, fucking $800. I'm not going to bring this thing out and about. You're not going to catch me on an airplane with this thing. I got the Xbox Series S. I got the Xbox Series X. I got the Logitech G. Call me when you got a real Xbox handheld that is basically a Series S in my hands. Call me when you have that device and we'll talk. Also, this game just has this device. It has too much gamer energy to it. It's too sharp and angular. It's got like green glowing LEDs on one side and blue glowing LEDs on the other side. I'm like, this looks too like RGB Razer gamer shit. And you're just not going to catch me on a plane holding this device like, sup gamer. I don't know. This isn't it for me. It's a cool device. I'd love to play with one. I just feel like this is like, it's not even a half step. It's like we already have this device. Now you're just skinning it like an Xbox and trying to sell it to me, when what I really want is a portable Xbox Series S. Like, come on, give me the real deal. For those who are excited about this device, great for you, but I'm not gonna act like this is it. All right, we talked about this device long enough. That's my piece on the ROG Xbox Ally. Hopefully it ends up being a really competitive price and ends up being a really great device, and hopefully I change my mind on it and I fall in love with it. But it's just, as of now, it's just cool. But let's move on. Next thing they show is that The Blood of Dawn Walker, a new game from Bandai Namco developed by Rebel Wolves, coming out in 2026. So let me pull this up real quick. So the first thing I actually noticed about this, forget the game itself, first thing I noticed about this was at the end of it, and then this happened many more times throughout the showcase, at the end of the trailer, it showed releasing on PlayStation 5. So they are not even shying away from talking about PlayStation anymore. They're showing the, trailers ended with the Nintendo Switch logo, the PlayStation 5 logo, the PS4 logo. I mean, they're just a fucking third-party publisher at this point. They don't even care. They're just like, fuck it. Here you go. Here's a third-party game. We're going to advertise that it's on the other guy's console. It's like you have nothing to benefit from saying that, dude. You're not going to benefit from selling this game on PlayStation because it's not your game. You're going to benefit from someone buying this game on Xbox over PlayStation, because then you get a 30% rip of the sale of the game. But then they went ahead and just said, fuck it, it's coming to PlayStation. Enjoy. So I thought that was very interesting of a choice to make. But yeah, as far as this game, it looks cool. I don't really know what to make of it because you see so many games like this and so many trailers like this where they focus more on cinematic than they do on gameplay. And it's like, I don't really know what to make of what this game is. It's medieval. It's got the orcs and elves and flames and dragons and vampires and swords and shields. But is it more like Elder Scrolls? Is it more like Dark Souls? Is it more like The Legend of Zelda? Like, what am I looking at here? So the guy slashes, he hacks, he's got the vampire teeth and the long hair and probably reeks of filth. But I can't really decide determine what I'm looking at from the gameplay. So it's really more like a tone and a teaser and like a taste of what this game offers. And it looks cool. It looks kind of like stuff we've seen before. It's nothing that got me super hyped, but it looks like a competent, cool game, and I could see that people would be excited to see more of this. It's something between like a werewolf and a Skyrim thing going on, and whatever. It looks fine, but it's coming out next year. No specific release date. I thought, hey, there's a cool third party game that they got some kind of marketing deal with. Not a bad look for them. All right, so let's move on. Next up, they showed one that I thought looked really cool. I'm actually very excited about this. Super Meat Boy 3D. Of course, the original Super Meat Boy is an Xbox arcade indie game from what, like 07, 08? An indie darling on the Xbox arcade back in the day. This is a 3D platformer modern version of Super Meat Boy, and it looks absolutely awesome. It comes out in early 2026. It is a day one Game Pass game, which is a really cool get for Game Pass. But oh boy, I want to play this game. I will definitely hop into this when it comes out. Super Meat Boy, for those who don't remember, it's like the original game was a 2D pixely platforming. It's not pixely. It's like flash animation, but it's super gruelingly hard, like platformer, where you go through like these obstacles and try to platform around without like getting just shredded. You play as this like glob of meat with a face on it, and you just try to platform around without running into like machines that pulverize you and shred you up. It's super bloody and gory and ridiculous, while also being kind of cutesy and fun. It was a very novel game at the time when it came out. It's always kind of pitched itself as like a super gory, mature alternative for people who love platformers. It's like, hey, you like Mario? You got a crude sense of humor? Here's Meat Boy, you know? But oh man, Super Meat Boy in 3D. I think this game looks pretty fucking cool, and I will happily give this game a go. It looks like if Super Meat Boy went into like Super Mario 3D World for the Wii U, that like this is what you get. And you can play it in co-op too. I think it's like 3 or 4 player. Looks really fun. So I'm definitely looking forward to this. I thought that was a pretty good little reveal there. Next up, they showed Ninja Gaiden 4, which was announced back in January during the Developer Direct. Still looks fucking great. Team Ninja and Platinum working together. Day one Game Pass, of course. And now we have a firm release date, October 21st. So this is a week before the Outer Worlds. So you get Ninja Gaiden 4 on October 21st, and then you get Outer Worlds on October 20. What do we say? The 29th of October, and then so Call of Duty must be a week after that. Let's pull up a calendar here and try to get an idea. We got October 2025. So yeah, the 21st is a Tuesday. The 28th, 29th is a Tuesday, Wednesday. So I'm going to guess that Call of Duty Black Ops 7 is coming out on November 4th, probably. November 4th or November 7th is probably going to be the date for that game. But yeah, Ninja Gaiden 4, again, it's like we talked about a lot when it was revealed a few months back. It looked great then. It looks great now. I'm still excited for it. I'll definitely give this a go again. Not clamoring for it. It's not the most hyped game of the year, but it definitely looks great, and I will definitely be there to play it when the time comes later this year. Looks like we're gearing up for a pretty solid latter half of the year, because Xbox announced, well, we got a couple things coming in July. There we go. There's English. July. We just had a busy May. June and July are kind of kept well by Nintendo, and then in July we got some decent Xbox content, and then we got some September, October, November love coming from Xbox. So it looks like 2025 on the whole is going to be quite a busy year, especially if you're an Xbox fan. So very much looking forward to Ninja Gaiden 4. Then next they date and show a trailer for The Order of Giants, which is the Indiana Jones and the Great Circle DLC that was revealed back when the game went for pre-order, and they said, hey, if you get the deluxe edition, you get this Order of the Giants expansion, included later when it comes out next year. And lo and behold, here's the trailer and the information for it. It takes place in Rome, which is the first location you go to in the game. So this will explore the giants, which are, a type of creature, person, beast, monster that you're introduced to in the game. And this will explore that story further on September 4th. So there you go. We got some October content. We got some September content. We got some July content we're about to get into. It looks pretty good. It's a very, I don't know. They're doing a good job of filling out the calendar with lots of good stuff, I'll say. But then we get into a reveal that honestly I wasn't expecting to see on Xbox's. What am I trying to say? At their showcase. But I'm glad we did see it because this game looks, in my opinion, pretty freaking cool. Now here's the problem. I don't know what to think of what this game is. So let me just get the big thing out of the way. The game is called Beasts of Reincarnation. It is a day one Game Pass game. It comes out next year in 2026. And the big kicker is it is being developed by Game Freak, the guys that make Pokemon. Now, Game Freak has been dabbling here and there for the better part of 10 years now, making other games that are unaffiliated with Nintendo, that are unaffiliated with Pokemon. Like, what do they make? That Tembo the Badass Elephant and stuff like that. They've made, I think they had that published with Sega, if I'm not mistaken. So they've worked with other publishers and released on other platforms in the past 10 years with these other games. But usually when they do these games, they're usually pretty small games. They're like, oh, we put a small team of 20 people on this project. They made this little kind of download, indie style game here and there, which they've done a few times. But this game is like a AAA, big budget, big team behind it, kind of proper video game. And I'm sure it's going to be on PlayStation and probably Switch 2 if it can run on that, and probably PC as well. But oh boy, they're announcing it and revealing it here on the Xbox stage. Mute that. And this game looks kind of badass. It has like a really nice visual art style, has really pretty graphics, which is just kind of novel because, Game Freak is not capable of making games that look and run well. So it's kind of crazy seeing them make a game that looks like it's a fucking, I don't know, what does this look like? It looks like a Monster Hunter game kind of. But yeah, it's all Japanese. It's like this dystopian future Japanese where everyone looks like a samurai, but it's techie and there's like these creatures and they look more like Monster Hunter characters than they do like Pokemon. And there's like these like fallen, overgrown robot cyborg monsters. And it's crazy because it's like you fight them like samurai style. So you're like hopping around, you're slashing with swords and you're jumping on their back and you're stabbing into them. It looks fucking cool. It takes place wait, when does it take place? In the year 4026. Is that what it is? I don't know. Fucking who cares? But it looks cool. The game, I don't know. I want to give it a try. But my setback, my concern, my apprehension is, oh no, is this the Pokemon people just creating a Souls game? Because everything's a fucking Souls game. Everything's got the dodge parry and it's hard as nails and all that stuff. And I looked into it, and the thing is, all they say is it's a new action RPG. 10 years ago, if you said something was an action RPG, I'd be like, fuck yeah, Far Cry. But nowadays you say action RPG, it means Dark Souls. It's such a vague term that it's a catch-all for anything and everything. So it's like, I don't know what the hell action RPG means in this case, but the game looks cool. I am very intrigued to see more of it. And I just hope it's an action RPG, not a grueling go fuck yourself 35 hours of grinding your teeth and throwing your controller at the wall kind of gameplay, because I'm 30 years old. I don't have time for that shit. So I don't know. I'm very cautiously optimistic to see and learn more about Beasts of Reincarnation, but for now, just interesting to see that Game Freak is working on a game that is a day one Xbox Game Pass game, which is just kind of fucking cool. Oh, oops, I just missed my place. Where am I? All right, the next game they showed is easily, without a doubt, my favorite game shown. It was the game I was most hoping to see more of, and here it was, looking beautiful, and we got a nice, long look at this very, very, very exciting game, and that was Clockwork Revolution, the new game from In Exile Entertainment. I think maybe second only to Obsidian, probably, actually, maybe even first, honestly. Of all of the teams that Xbox acquired back in 2018, 2019, when they were like, we're expanding Xbox game studios, of all the teams that they acquired, this is the team, along with Obsidian, that I think has done the most impressive job of saying, we got all this Xbox money and resource now to make whatever kind of game we want. Let's really go big. Because Clockwork Revolution, when you look at it compared to like a Bard's Tale or Wasteland, this is really taking what these guys have done in the past and bringing it up to a very AAA kind of level. And I think this game just looks absolutely phenomenal. Clockwork Revolution is a new open world Western style first person role playing game, very much in the vein of Wasteland, but in like a more Fallout kind of perspective, similar to like an Elder Scrolls or a Bethesda game or an Obsidian game. And it just looks so fucking good. They gave us a 5-minute trailer, 5.5-minute trailer. It shows a lot of story content up front. It takes place in the late 1800s. And it shows like it introduces you to this bad guy character. Like, you know, the kind of synopsis is like this guy's been framed or wronged or something. And then he's trying to track down who did it. And it turns out it's you, and you create your character and blah, blah, blah. And I love this, like, I don't even know how to put it. This fucking, this steampunk, like historical, like 19th century fucking weird fantastical world that the game's set in. Anyway, and these crazy guns that you get to like kind of build and customize, and everything looks all super, again, steampunky, mechanical, and weird. But it looks like just such a cool game. And the thing is, the first time we saw this game last year, it felt very much like, oh my God, this is like what if In Exile made a Fallout or an Outer Worlds style game. And now after seeing it again, I'm like, this is like what if In Exile made a Fallout or Elder Scrolls or Outer Worlds style game, but also kind of like a BioShock game. Like, this game just looks so cool. And there's this mechanic that they keep teasing that you can manipulate with like going back, like time warping, and like readjusting things or rewriting things that happened in the past, but also making decisions that will warp and change things that happen in the future. And, you know, as is typical of these types of games, lots of combat choices, lots of narrative choices, lots of decisions you get to make that influence the gameplay and the outcome and the narrative progression of the game. But on top of that, it just looks like it has such a unique visual flair, very interesting guns. The combat looks very competent for a game made by a bunch of people who have been making from like isometric top-down RPG point-and-click style games, not point-and-click, but, you know, like click, like more like real-time strategy kind of controls, and moving into more of a first-person shooter perspective. So it's like, again, they've really nailed the look. It just looks like one of those games where it's like you can tell it feels good when you play it, although that's not a given. But it really looks like they're cooking something very, very special here. And I thought, by kind of throwing this in the middle of the showcase, it was such a testament to how good this game looks, because even though there were a lot of great games announced before and after this game just stood out so far and above everything else around it that, without a doubt, like, by the time we saw this game, I was like, game of the show right there, fucking give it its flowers. I mean, this game looks so fucking good. The only thing that's disappointing is we still don't have even a vague release date. It said the same thing about the release date in this trailer that it said last year, which was in due time, which is like, okay, last year that was cute because you were just announcing it for the first time. This year, it's a little fucking annoying because it's like, all right, now's the time where you just vaguely say 2027 or whatever you gotta say. I'm assuming this is a 2027 game. I'm not getting my hopes up at all for next year whatsoever, but I am very much getting my hopes up for the game itself because it looks so fucking good. But that's Clockwork Revolution. God, I make this game here. I write notes as the show's going on. I write the name of the game, the release date, the developer, Game Pass, whatever. This is what I wrote while I was watching the trailer. I wrote, Clockwork Revolution, still no date, looks perfect. God, please release this thing now. That's all I wrote down about it. But yeah, I mean, I really, really want to play this game. So very much looking forward to In Exile Entertainment's next outing, first big budget outing as an Xbox team, Clockwork Revolution. It looks phenomenal. Next up, we got... who was it? Was it Matt Booty or who came on stage? I think this is when Matt Booty came out, and he was like, hey, by the way, Obsidian's not working on 2 games. They're working on 3 games this year. Isn't that crazy? Yeah, here's that 3rd game they're working on. I was like, what? A 3rd game? Oh, it's probably just Grounded 2. And then sure enough, they announced Grounded 2, which is still not, still nothing to sneeze at. Grounded 1 was a very successful game. Wasn't my cup of tea, but people really seem to love it. So it's awesome to see that they're getting around 2 with it. So it's coming out very imminently on July 29th. It's coming out next month in about a month and a half. So very much in the spirit of the first game, the announced to release time for this game is very, very short. And it will also launch, like the first game did, into game preview, which is kind of interesting because does PlayStation do a game preview? How does that work? I think they do a game preview. So it will release on all platforms day one. Will this be on Switch too? I don't know how they're going to handle that, but it is a day one Game Pass game. It is launching in a game preview, and it looks like more of Grounded 2. And they kind of gave us a 2-for-1 because at the end of the show, when they did their showcase on The Outer Worlds 2, they also did a little mini showcase on Grounded 2. So it was a nice little buy one, get one deal they threw out there. So by the end of the year, if all goes well, Obsidian will have put out Avowed, Grounded 2, and Outer Worlds 2. So, I mean, that's a very, very impressive outing from a team to do all in 1 year. Obsidian just, again, continuing to be the best value of any developer that Xbox has acquired. And it looks like more grounded too. Just don't have much to say about it other than that. But props to this developer that just keeps being an efficient, lean, content churning machine. They're putting out some good stuff and a really good timing too. All right, the next game that was shown is a new game from Bloober Team. This is the guys that made, most recently, they made that Silent Hill 2 remake. But we also know them because they made that early Xbox Series X launch window-ish title, The Medium. They're kind of known as like a middle-of-the-road horror developer, although they've been kind of getting a better reputation recently. But they announced a brand new game called Chronos. Isn't it something else? Isn't there a subtitle? It's Chronos. Yeah, Chronos The New Dawn, which is kind of whatever kind of name. But I actually thought this game looked really cool. This is a pinch of salt kind of game for me because I really didn't care for the Medium. I thought it was cool, but I fell off of it, kind of got bored of it real fast. But this looks like their take on like a Dead Space style game. It looks very space sci-fi. You got the pistol. It looks like, I don't know, like slower paced, more like Resident Evil, Dead Space kind of combat. So I'm very intrigued to learn more about this. But again, it's a developer that has not proven themselves to me personally. But one thing that's really cool is that this game is coming out very soon. It comes out this fall, so no hard release date for it, but it is coming out soon. Is this a game they announced recently? I feel like this game may have been. I think they did announce this game kind of recently, and this is the second time it's being shown. But in any case, it looks really cool. The tone, the atmosphere, it looks very, again, like space sci-fi while also being just kind of, well, it's not true. It's like your character looks like a spaceman, but the environment looks very Resident Evil-ish, actually. I don't know. Just, it looks good. The vibes are good. It looks like it'd be a fun game to play right around Halloween time, so I'm sure it will come out in mid-November. But anyway, cautiously optimistic. This is one where this is a rare game where I will actually wait to watch some YouTube reviews and see what other people are saying about it before I make a determination as to whether or not I want to try it. Or if it ends up going to Game Pass, whatever, just try it on Game Pass. But they did not announce it as a Day 1 Game Pass game, so I don't think that is the case. But yeah, it looks pretty cool. I just not super confident in the developer, so I will just wait and see more on that one. But that was Chronos, The New Dawn. All right, next up, the obligatory Elder Scrolls Online update. They showed the Worm Cult new update on June 18th. Really couldn't give a shit any less about it. We're not going to talk about it. They showed some pet companion thing. I just don't care about Elder Scrolls Online. I understand that they have to show it every time, and Fallout 76 also has to get shown every time, but I'm not going to waste my breath talking about these things because I just don't care. So that happened. Good for them. And now we move on to a new game from Don't Nod. Don't Nod just kind of churning shit out too. Another developer that's really being efficient and maximizing their team to pump out some games this generation. So they announced a new game called Aphelion. And this game's interesting because it's being made in collaboration with the European Space. What is it with the European Space Force? What do they call it? Who gives a shit, dude? It's not NASA. Who gives a shit? But no, I think this game looks really cool. It's what is it? The European Space Agency. Nice. I think that's cool. But is this game with this girl who crash lands on this like icy planet or icy terrain, and she's just trying to like find her way back home or relink with her partner, her space boyfriend or whatever. But it looks from a gameplay perspective like it's very much influenced by Don't Nod's game that they made, what was it, 2 years ago? Jasant, that game where it was like that indie style game where it was like about like mountain climbing and traversing this like this big hiking mountainous trek. This game looks kind of similar in that sense, where like the gameplay looks like it's a lot of like clambering and scaling and crawling and jumping and climbing and roping and things like that. But it looks like it's also maybe kind of like walking sim, very narrative based. I think this game looks cool. It's got good vibes. Don't Nod's one of those developers where it's like every time they announce a game, I'm like, that's cool, I'll play that. And then the game comes out and I end up not playing it. I've played like 2 of their games. But I really hope this is one of the games that makes it into the list of games I've tried from them because it does look really cool. And one of the things I really admire about this developer is it just seems like every time they go for another game, they just do something different. So the tone, the characters, the setup here, it's just different from what we've seen from them in the past, and I admire that. So it looks cool. Looks fun. They're referring to it as a third-person sci-fi adventure, which again is very vague. Is this a 4-hour walking simulator game? Is it a 15-hour third-person cover-based shooter? What is it? Because it could be both of those things and be a third-person sci-fi adventure. But this game does look pretty interesting, and so we'll continue to keep tabs on it. It's coming out next year in 2026, and it did not identify as a Game Pass game. Or no, it did. It's a day one Game Pass game. So yeah, so give it a try no matter what, just because of Game Pass. There you go. Fuck yeah. All right, next up here, guys. This is a game I'm going to give credit to being unique for, but I have no interest in whatsoever. This game, let's scroll to it. Yeah, here it is. There are no ghosts in the Grand. So this is a day one Game Pass game coming next year in 2026. It is I wrote weird mystery fantastical Caribbean game. It's this guy goes to this like hotel, this inn that I assume based on the language and the characters and the music and the decor and the feel is very Caribbean. And this guy starts dancing, and the house turns magical, just like that Disney movie. And the house starts like granting wishes and turning into a beautiful home. And then like you pull out a gun that like organizes books on shelves, and then there's a cat that talks to you and says, "You can only trust me." And then like this guy's like, "Don't let the locals find out your true identity. Here, take this gun and organize bookshelves." And then you have this cell phone with a little handyman on it that looks like a Pip-Boy, and he's like, "Don't forget to put holes in the walls so you can repaint everything." There's clearly some mystery thing going on here. I don't know if it's if this is like some 6-hour kind of like narrative sim game, or if it's like some kind of long form video game. I don't know what this is. I don't know if it's more like a Power Wash simulator, or if it's more like BioShock. It's just I don't really know what to make based on the trailer, but it does look interesting. It does look unique, and I admire that. It just doesn't look like a game that's for me. It says you have exactly 30 days and nights to restore the crumbling hotel and explore the surrounding seaside village for eerie supernatural secrets. And then it says a crumbling English hotel restored, and you're there to restore it by day by battling ghosts at night. There are no ghosts in the Grand. It's a sardonic cat, a talking power tool, and a twisting supernatural plot. Spooky, cozy, musical mystery unlike any other. You have exactly 30 days and 30 nights to restore this crumbling manor. Yeah, it's it's cool. It's unique. Props for that. All the singing and the dancing doesn't do it for me, but gaming needs more risk taking and more creativity and uniqueness, and for that I will give it props. But moving on, they showed Age of Mythology, Heavenly Spearfall. This is a new expansion for Age of Mythology. Again, not going to sit here and act like this is something I'm really going to get excited about. It's a new Japanese faction that will be added to Age of Mythologies Retold, and that is good for people who like that, but this is more like we have to put it there for obligatory purposes and not because anyone's excited about it, so cool. Next, they showed this Korean game called Muddang Two Hearts, which is coming out next year in 2026. This game I thought looked actually pretty cool. It is, I don't know what to make of it. It's like a tactical third-person action adventure game. It has like I wrote, it feels like, looking at the trailer, it looks like Metal Gear Solid meets Spec Ops: The Line or something like that, with like a supernatural twist. It looks actually pretty fucking cool. Stupid name, Muddang Two Hearts, but I don't know if I'm pronouncing that right. But it takes place in Korea. It says here's what it says on Xbox Wire. It says, revealed for the first time today, it blends stealth, close quarter combat, and an emotionally driven storytelling into a seamless cinematic experience. Players experience the story through the distinct perspectives of Ji Jong-tae and a North Korean special forces operative dispatched to Seoul, a K-pop idol who's there's also Gavi, Gavi, a K-pop idol whose past holds a dangerous secret, and a new wave of terrorist attacks fractures the fragile illusion of peace, and the two become entangled with an enigmatic militant group of known as the Balmuban. I can't pronounce Korean shit. I don't know. I'm sorry. But anyway, I think this game actually looks fucking awesome. It looks like it's fun. It looks like it's unique. It has an interesting story, and it's something I would 100% give a go to. I think this is a day one Game Pass game, if I'm not mistaken. Let me see. No. Close. No, it's a Play Anywhere title, but it is not day one Game Pass, which is a shame, because if this was Game Pass, it would be such an easy it'd be such an easy one to be like, fuck yeah, I'm playing that. But I definitely want to give this game a go, or at least keep closer tabs on it, because that is interesting. Like talking about like the North-South Korean conflict and some like rising Spec Ops like tension between that shit. That sounds like a fun Call of Duty narrative waiting to happen. And then you throw in a little stealth action and some weird side plot with a K-pop star. I'm into all that shit. Yeah, so that game looks cool. I just wish we saw more game footage of it, and also just want to know more about the stealth stuff, because stealth, I'm cool with a little bit of stealth, but I'm usually not too much into like a lot of stealth. Like I like Metal Gear Solid, but I don't love Metal Gear Solid, if you catch my drift. So, but yeah, what is it? Mudang 2 Hearts, Mudang 2 Hearts. God, stupid name. Very interested in seeing more of that. And I say stupid name, it just shows my ignorance and my lack of open-mindedness to other cultures. I'm such a problem. All right, next up here we got Planet of Lana 2, Children of the Leaf, which is a day one Game Pass game. Now, I know people loved the first Planet of Lana. It was a big hit for Game Pass. So that's pretty cool that we're getting a second one, developed by Thunderful and Whiskful. Whiskful, is that the publisher? Or I forgot who. But Thunderful is the developer, right? They don't give a release date other than just saying next year, 2026, but I'm sure people will be excited about this game. People really seem to like the first one. It was one of those like critical darlings, and it did well for Game Pass. So cool to see that we're getting another one of those, and it's another Game Pass game day one, so that will do well. But that is Planet of Lana 2. Don't want to linger on that one too much because not too much interest for me. And then next up, this is the last one we'll just like kind of just blow over and skip right past as far as like updates and follow-ups. Nope, that's not true. There's a few more. But we got to skip past this next one. Fallout 76. All right, we get it. It's just like Elder Scrolls Online. It's like, okay, we get it. It has to be here. You got to do your annual update. But like, I don't care. This is what we were seeing during that 30-minute countdown while we were waiting for the show to start. That's what this was. It was this. It was Fallout 76 Gone Fishing, which is this weird new update where you can fish and make a fishing hut look all customized and personalized. I don't know what the fuck this is. But there you go. There's your annual update for Fallout 76. It's fishing shit. There you go. All right, next up, solo leveling. What is that again? Arise Overdrive. Yeah, solo leveling Arise Overdrive. Yeah, I saw this trailer and I just thought, all I'm going to write here for my notes is just, do I need to say more? Like, what else do you need to know after the name of the game is revealed as that? It's just, I mean, it's fucking anime slop for you fucking weeby-ass, horny motherfuckers. I mean, what do you want me to say about this? It is, let's see what they call it. They call it an action RPG. Lets you experience overwhelming power and thrilling combat. If I'm being less of an asshole, I'll be entirely honest. I think the combat in this game actually looks kind of fun. This like action RPG combat where there's no turn-based mechanic. There's no like add this skill base on top of that action button. It just looks like just hacking, slashing, shooting, sliding, rolling, jumping kind of shit, and I'm into that. So it's cool, but like I see these kinds of games, and like my eyes just like immediately begin to I can't. I just see it, and I'm like, let me just check my phone immediately. During this lull, I see a guy, he looks like a fucking ninja warrior, and I see this guy with the fucking blue flames and the mask from the fucking past, and the dragons and the emperors and the knights kneeling, and I'm just it's all anime. There we go. It says coming to Xbox, PC, and console. So 2026, whatever. I know it's for someone. I know someone's gonna be like, this is a pretty cool thing for Xbox to get. I'm sure it's also on other platforms, and that's not exclusive at all. But they don't mention PlayStation 5 in the trailer, which is kind of interesting. Maybe it is a timed Xbox exclusive. We know Xbox wants some Japanese support, even though they constantly ruin their opportunity to grow in that market. There we go. Coming 2026. Not much else to say about that. All right, next up, we got this new game that made me deeply uncomfortable. I felt like the whole time I watched this next trailer, I just thought, wow, if my parents were here and they walked in the room right now, what would they say about me? And it's a new game called Animo. It's, like ANIIMO, like Amiibo from Nintendo, but it's Animo. And it is a open world RPG. This is basically, what's that game called? Pal World? This is like Pal World, but without guns, is what this is. You're a girl and you run around, and there's these little Pokemon creatures that are obviously Pokemon, but they look less like Pokemon than they do in Pal World. And instead of getting guns, you can like like control the Pokemon and turn into them and like morph into the Pokemon, and then you can like roll around and do attacks. And at some point in the trailer, this girl slaps the ass of a Pokemon, a small Pokemon, not even like this Pokemon is definitely underage. And this girl, who mind you looks straight out of Overwatch, taps the ass not once but twice on this small Pokemon. Then the trailer has the audacity to go around and show you the menus, which look like a fucking mobile game. Okay, so it's a mobile game. It's an ass tapper. It's a Pokemon-like. It's a Pal World knockoff. I mean, oh my God, there it is. She just tapped the ass. I'm watching the trailer as I'm talking to you guys. And then you form into the Pokemon and enjoy this vaguely Unreal 5 looking world they have for you here. And then to cap it all off, towards the end of the trailer, they introduce more knockoff Pokemon, and they're all fucking furries. They're foxes with big tails and flames and all that shit. So it's a furry fest. So it's a Pokemon molestation / furry fest from the creators of Pal World, not actually made by the creators of Pal World, but it looks like a knockoff to Pal World, but there's no guns to justify it, and the art style looks distinct from Pokemon so they don't get sued by Nintendo. But God, oh God, this game looks rough. I don't like this game. I'm not going to try to be a nice guy and find the silver lining and say, well, maybe for someone. No, if you're that someone who likes this game, you're a bad person. You don't deserve to have children, because calling Child Protective Services on you. You're watching ass tapping Pokemon games, and then you're like, I think I'll be a dad one day. No. Anyway, that's Anemo coming in 2026. God, get it out of my head. All right. Next up, they give us a really fucking strong palate cleanser, and they play CKY and give us Bam Margera skating on a fucking skateboard around wherever the hell he is. And then Tony Hawk looks real old, and he's like, "Hey, it's me, Tony Hawk." I'm really excited that Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 3 and 4 remakes coming out very soon. Here's another trailer. Hey, by the way, the demo is out today. Go play that demo. And hey, by the way, Doomslayer and Ninja Turtles are coming to this game. So fucking ride around a skateboard as the Ninja Turtles. Why the hell not? So that was a nice little respite, a nice little palate cleanser. Now we know that game's coming out. When's that game come out? July 9th? Very soon. Sometime in early to mid-July, I believe. So that game comes out pretty imminently, and God almighty, God, we need that. We need that to just take the pain and the suffering away from watching the ass tapping Pokemon. Man, that's the second game that showed skateboards today. Where is it? Yeah, July 11th. So yeah, I mean, game looks great. Nothing more to say about it. We've known about it for a while now. It's it's here Friday, July 11th. Go pre-order it. Go play it. Game Pass day one. All that jazz. So there's that nice little pimp sesh by Tony Hawk, and then we get At Fate's End, which is a new game from the team that made Spiritfarer, another Day 1 Game Pass game coming out in 2026. And Spiritfarer, you may remember as another one of those Xbox Game Pass games that kind of just really blew up and did very well and had a lot of love and fanfare and critical love. So this is another one of those follow-ups to a critical darling, which is good for Game Pass. I think Xbox just needs some more of this. They need some fanfare from the IGNs and the games medias of the world, because God, those people just fucking hate Xbox. So you get stuff like this and it helps build up your brand a little more and get you a little more credibility from those schmucks. But yeah, this game it looks fine to me. It looks like Spiritfarer. It's two girls, and I think they're sisters, and like they're fighting, and they're like, "Mom hates you," and there's like no dialogue or anything, and then like the guy pulls a sword out of his back, and it looks like he's bleeding as he does it, and then he grows dragon wings, and they fight, and it looks very like DeviantArt kids made a video game kind of thing, but it's artsy and it'll get a BAFTA award or whatever. So there's that if you're interested in that. It's just, I don't know, like 10 years ago, 12 years ago, at the end of the Xbox 360, early Xbox One years, when we were starting to get games that looked like this, all these indie games that looked and felt like this, I was like, oh, that's cool. Hey, that's different. Oh, wow, I respect that. And now, like 10 years later, I'm just like, oh, wow, another one of these games. Okay. There you go. At Fate's End, Day 1 Game Pass 2026. This is why I'm closed-minded and why I still play the same 5 games after all these years. Then, speaking of playing the same games forever and ever, Gears of War Reloaded was shown again, which I don't know why they, why couldn't they have just saved this announcement for a few weeks and announced it today if they were going to show it at their showcase anyway. But yeah, they showed Gears of War Reloaded and reminded everyone, hey, this comes out on August 26th. It's on PlayStation. It's on Xbox. It's a new definitive way to play the original Gears of War. And I was like, cool. This means that after this trailer, they're going to show Gears of War E-Day, right? And then the trailer ends and they go into Persona 4 Revival, Day 1 Game Pass. Persona 4 is being remade again, and it's coming to Xbox for the first time, and it will be on Game Pass Day 1. It's called Persona 4 Revival, and I said, wait a minute, where's that Gears of War E-Day update? Remember, the rumors are that's coming out in 2026. Where is it? And then we just moved away from Gears of War, and we got the little trailer reminding you about Gears of War Reloaded, which we already knew about because you just talked about it 2 weeks ago, and we're past it. And I'm like, what's wrong with this showcase? And these are kind of the points in the showcase where I was just like, what are we doing here? We're getting all these like fucking furry fest indie games, but what about Gears of War E-Day, which you showed us last year, which you told us is coming soon? What about Gears E-Day? Where's Fable? Wait, where's Perfect Dark? We're like 2/3 of the way through the show. Where the fuck is Perfect Dark? Wait a minute. Isn't Rare working on a game? Wait a minute. Didn't State of Decay get announced like when my grandparents were kids? Like where's State of Decay 3? And I'm just starting to wonder these things as we're pouring through this Game Pass indie schlock. And I'm saying, where are the Xbox games? It's great that we're getting new games. We're getting great third-party support. We're getting great indie support. We're getting great Day 1 Game Pass support. It's great that ROG is putting an Xbox logo on one of their on one of their handhelds and rebranding it as an Xbox, and that Sarah Bond's getting behind it, and that people in Reddit are talking about buying it over a Switch 2 as if these things are comparable devices. That's all well and good, but where the fuck are the updates on the Xbox games? Hey, remember Contraband? Yeah, I bet you don't. Okay, so where are these games? So Persona 4, hey, that's a big hit. That's a big get for Xbox. It's a big get for Game Pass. That's cool shit. Can we go back to Gears of War? No, because here's your obligatory annual Sea of Thieves update for Season 17, Smugglers and Tide, coming August 2025. Again, great for the Sea of Thieves community. I understand it's got to be here. I'll roll my eyes and let you do your thing. Let's move on. But can we get back to Gears of War E-Day? No, motherfucker, because we got to talk about Skybound Games and developer Quarter Up, are working on a new fighting game set in the universe of the hit comic book / Amazon Prime TV series Invincible. And the game is called Invincible Versus, and it comes out in 2026. And I was like, yeah, that's cool. Lots of superhero fighting games, Injustice, Marvel vs. Capcom, and fucking all the other Marvel games. And PlayStation just got that really cool looking Marvel fighting game that's all Japanese. But like, okay, Invincible Versus, I guess. I've seen the first season of Invincible. It's a very good show. I like it a lot. Very violent, very, very violent. But yeah, I mean, it's cool. It's a cool get. I mean, I don't mind seeing a 2-minute trailer for it and thinking someone out there is going to really enjoy this game. But yeah, I don't like fighters. I'm not very into them. I know other people are. I know the fighting game community, I feel like, is experiencing a big resurgence the past few years. It feels like there's been a lot more investment in these kinds of games. And so that's cool. It's a 3v3 tag fighting game, whatever. I'm sure this will be on all platforms, but it is also, of course, an Xbox Play Anywhere game. Looks fine. But like, can we get back to Fable? Where's Perfect Dark? And then they hit me with an announcement that I was so confident was not going to happen that it was such a happy day for me. I was like, oh my God, it's real. Oh my God, it's happening. Guys, Final Fantasy VII Remake Intergrade is actually coming to Xbox. I wrote, wow, this is actually coming to Xbox. LMFAO. That is what I wrote. Winter 2025. So by the end of this year, we should be able to play Final Fantasy VII on the Xbox. Hey, I made a promise. I said I even kind of want to play it on my Switch too, but I'm waiting for these fuckers to put this game on Xbox out of principle alone, and if they don't do it, I will not play this game. And now that the game is finally coming to Xbox, I will play it. Fine. There we go. I will play it. It only took you fucking 6 or 7 years or whatever the fuck it's been. I think this game came out on PlayStation 4 in like 2019 or something like that. So, wow. Took you a long ass time. But hey, they finally did it. Props to them. Not only that, but Final Fantasy 16 is also coming to Xbox. And, big kicker, it's available right now. Right now, you can go on your Xbox and play Final Fantasy 16. Now, these were not announced as Xbox Game Pass games, so you will have to buy them. That's fine. Happy to support them. We know Square Enix is very disappointed by the way these games have performed for whatever reason. So, hey, that's great. I am more than happy to give these a go. Yeah, I was really not expecting that. So when does Final Fantasy VII Remake Part 2 come? Because that came out like a year or two ago. I forget what they call it, but that's already out. So is that going to come to Xbox in another 5 years, or are you going to bring that to Xbox in like a year or two? Because I'm curious about that as well. But yeah, I'm definitely going to give this game some support. Final Fantasy VII Remake. This will happen. Thank you for finally bringing it to Xbox. 5 years too late, but Thank you for doing it. So very pleasantly surprised to see both of those announcements. Very relieved that it's actually happening. Better late than never. And then we kind of got our first closer, like the last song before the encore. And that was the reveal of a brand new Xbox Game Studios game developed by none other than Double Fine, the guys that make Psychonauts. Their first game from the ground up, start to finish, as an Xbox first-party team. And it's coming out very soon on October 17th. The game is called Keeper. And I said, Keeper? I hardly know her. No, Keeper. So this one kind of flew under the radar for me. I saw it, and I was like, and then I went back, I was like, wait, Double Fine? And I watched the trailer again, and it's like, I'll be honest, I'm not super excited about this game. I'm actually a little whelmed by it, because I thought that with Xbox time and money, they'd want to do something very big, very AAA, very, take on like a big project, but Keeper looks kind of like a smallish, I don't know, it looks like not that much more impressive than something they would have made, in the last generation when they were more of a nimble, independent studio. So I'm a little surprised to see that they're not going for something a bit more ambitious looking in terms of its scale, in terms of its size, but it looks like it is a 3D, sometimes 2D, mostly 3D, kind of puzzly adventure game where you play as this like anthropomorphic lighthouse looking thing. It's a lighthouse, and it has there's this bird that follows you around and sits atop the lighthouse, and you guys are on this adventure together. It's like Banjo-Kazooie, but instead of being a bear, you're a lighthouse, and then Kazooie. It looks fantastical and mystical and weird, and has a cool art style, and it is something I'm interested in playing and seeing more of, but I gotta be honest, I just expected, I guess, something a little more cinematic and AAA looking from Double Fine after the release of Psychonauts 2. So I'm a little interested there. I wonder if they're working on two games and this is the smaller of the two games, because it's coming out very soon. They're announcing it here in June, and it comes out in just a few months on October 17th. So right there, I just got to throw out there, October is a busy fucking month for Xbox. Like, if you thought you were going to go running around trick-or-treating like a big baby, guess again, because you're going to be at home playing Xbox, because they're going to be pumping games inside of you on your Game Pass subscription there. God forbid you get the ROG Ally Xbox Edition. You're going to have so much Xbox to play on that thing. October 17th, which is a Friday. Day one Game Pass, of course, because it is a Xbox first-party game. Looks cool. Looks interesting. Looks very unique. Not sure that I'm like, whoa, about it, but I would definitely be interested to see a little bit more about what this game has to offer. Let's see what they refer to it as. They say it's an otherworldly third-person adventure from Double Fine Productions. Yep, that's what they call it. They say, we encountered a lighthouse after eons of sitting dormant that falls to the ground, breaking to heaps of rubble, and then reassembles to stand up again on newly formed legs. It has awakened. Yes, folks, that's right. In Keeper, you play as a walking lighthouse, able to shine a beam of bright light that affects the world around it, with a spirited seabird companion coming along for the ride. This trailer that was shown today takes us on an epic adventure into the strange, unknowable island, joining the lighthouse on a journey toward the center of the island. So again, just show me another trailer as we get closer to launch. I'll give it a go. Day one Game Pass. Double Fine, they don't really miss, and I'm just excited to see what this game has in store, but I'm not gonna lie and say like, fuck yeah, I love Double Fine, I love first party Xbox teams, this game's so high, but this is my next favorite game. Like, no, I'm very much like a, let's see where this goes. It'll probably be better than it looks, but I'm not like blown away by that first reveal. So that's Keeper, new game from Double Fine. And so at this point I'm like, oh shit, we're at the end, aren't we? And then lo and behold, it pans to Phil Spencer, and if there's anything you know about the past 2 or 3 years of Xbox showcases, they don't really roll Phil Spencer out until the end of the show these days. So Phil Spencer comes out at the end. Fucking, first of all, shout out to Phil Spencer. Lost a ton of weight. Looks super fucking good. Of course, all those comments always just go to, oh, dude, Phil Spencer's on Ozempic. It's like, dude, shut the fuck up, man. Can someone just, like, not be a dick for 2 seconds? It's like, whatever his journey was to get here, who gives a shit? None of your fucking business. Just be happy for the guy. He looks great. He looks like he's healthier. He looks a little happier, and just, I mean, the dude has looked stressed as fuck the past few years, and he just looks better off right now. It looks like someone took the reins out of his hands and said, fuck you, we're putting all these games on PlayStation, fuck Xbox. And he goes, oh, wow, that takes so much off my plate to have to run this brand now that it's basically just a third-party publisher. And, his hair grew back and his face de-wrinkled and he lost weight, and suddenly he's young again. He's 13, he's playing basketball, doing alley-oops. So good for Mr. Phil Spencer. But no, so he does like the wrap-up talk. He's like, oh, great games from great developers across great platforms. We're going to put players in the center of the universe. I love Panda Express because they have super greens and it's a healthy fast food alternative. And he's like, whatever, the same like spiel they always give. And then he says, 2026 will be the 25th anniversary of Xbox. And then he talks about how they have plans to celebrate it and how they haven't forgotten. And it's a big milestone for the brand. And then he hints at the idea of, quote, the next Forza, Fable, Gears of War E-Day, and the return of a classic that's been with us since the beginning, which kind of only means grab by the ghoulies. No, it kind of means Halo and nothing else, as we all know. So he says that, and it's like a really nice little tease that next year next year is going to be the return of, it's going to be a celebration of 25 years of Xbox. We're going to see the touching of these old IP that we all know and love that really identify the brand and define the brand as what it is. Cool, right? And then he fades out and says, here's one last surprise. And for a second, hold off. We'll get into that one last surprise, but this is exciting because at this point I'm like really pissed. I'm like, dude, wait a minute. Oh, let me pull up my list because remember last week I didn't do predictions, but it's some guesses as to what we might see. So there's like, here's some things you'll definitely see, and here's some things I suspect we'll maybe see. We didn't see Gears of War E-Day. We didn't see State of Decay 3. We didn't see the Elite 3 controller or the Seville controller. We didn't get that Halo Combat Evolved remake tease. We didn't get Everwild reveal. We didn't get anything on Contraband. We didn't get anything on Perfect Dark. We didn't get anything on Fable. We didn't get anything on Elder Scrolls 6. We didn't get anything on Toys for Bob and that new game they're working on, or anything from Blizzard. And so I'm like, oh, you know what? Maybe what they're doing is they're kind of taking a slump year, because there's going to be a slump year here and there every now and then. And then they're like, we're not really going to talk about that other shit because we're going to hit you real hard in 2026. January comes around, we'll do our January developer direct, and we'll go boom, boom, boom. Here's a new Forza. Here's Fable. Here's Gears of War. Here's Halo, whatever. Like the games that they're going to show off next year. I don't think they'll do Halo because I doubt Halo's coming next year, but they'll reveal and show and talk about Halo next year probably. So that is my guess, is next year, probably for the developer direct, the 4 games. If I had to guess in any random order, it's Gears of War, it's Perfect Dark, it's Fable, and then it's State of Decay, maybe. And then they'll announce and show Forza and Halo later in the year at the showcase in June. Also, we didn't see OD. What the fuck? Where's that? Anyway. So that is my guess, is that they're going to have a really strong year next year, and so they kind of had to take a slump year this year. So rather than showing you yet a millionth update on Fable, they're saying let's just lay low, and then next year in January, we will hit it out the park with some like, here's a specific release date, here's extended gameplay, here's the game coming out this year. But still, it's like you could have shown a little something for us, on Fable, so we're not totally left in the dark. But I don't know, I think the way they chose to handle it was kind of a miss. But I'm guessing that the reason so many things were missing is because they're going to try to use it to have a really big 2026 to celebrate the 25th anniversary of Xbox. And because if all things are on track, next year should be the year we get the reveal and announcement of the next generation of Xbox. So next year we could get Fable, State of Decay, Perfect Dark, Gears of War, a Halo reveal, a new Forza reveal, the reveal of a new Xbox. Like, it could be a huge year for Xbox in terms of news and heavy hitter first party games. But even though this year has been a great year for Xbox in terms of releases, with Doom and Avowed and Outer Worlds and Tony Hawk and Call of Duty Black Ops 7 and all the, whatever, and all the shit, right? Even though all that's been true, this showcase I thought was pretty fucking like, okay, And then they go, here's the one last thing, right? And then they show the trailer, and it's Call of Duty Black Ops 7, a game that I assumed we would see at today's event. Really, it's cinematic trailer, no gameplay or anything, but a very cinematic trailer. It shows this guy, I can't put my finger on who it is, it looks super familiar, and then generic tech CEO is there, and they're like, we're not Apple, we're the techie future. Guns, we sell guns. Capitalism, corruption, deceiving, whatever, all the tropes. And then the guy's like, oh, there's a butterfly, and then he touches the butterfly forms into the wall, and then he goes to this glass dimension and he sees a guy, and I'm like, that's motherfucking Raul Menendez from Black Ops 2. Oh my god. And then the guy looks up and he goes, Menendez, and then the guy turns around and goes, Mason. I'm like, oh my fucking god. And I just start like having one of those out of body experiences, like when you see like those like videos of like the black church where like the priest is like all rhythmic and bluesy, and he's like, relieving the demons from within inside you, and the woman's like shaking and having like a fucking like out of body experience. Like, that's me right there in that moment. I'm like shaking, I'm having my out of body experience because it's Black Ops 2 and we're coming back from 2012. I'm happy as shit. So this was a great reveal for me. I know it's obligatory. It's like, oh, another Call of Duty, no shit. But for me, this is exciting because some of you guys don't understand. World at War, Black Ops 1, Black Ops 2, these are some seminal games. I know Call of Duty is a tired, overkilled franchise for a lot of you out there, but there are some Call of Duties that are just certified classics, and I'm sorry, I refuse to be a jaded asshole about a new Call of Duty if it is a direct sequel to something as beloved and classic as Black Ops 2. So I'm just going to be hype about this no matter what. I assume we'll get a gameplay reveal and all the details at Call of Duty Next, which I think usually takes place in August, maybe July, but I think it's in August. And then, of course, the game will probably be out in November, late October, November. I'm guessing November because Xbox has a very loaded October so far. But yeah, man, I'm excited to see what this game looks like. So to me, I know for a lot of people, that's a very lazy, very uninspired, very boring, one last thing kind of announcement. For me, it's hype because I love Black Ops 2 and I want to see that sequel. So I understand why it's not exciting for most people. I get that. I can relate. But fuck you, we got Black Ops 2. Anyway, so that's the showcase. And then they go on and they do the Outer Worlds 2 Developer Direct, and then they also throw in some Grounded 2 Developer Direct in there. It's funny. They got Ben Schwartz. He comes in, he pretends he works at the studio, and he does some funny bits, and he's messing around with the team and all that. And he's like, I'm Ben Schwartz. I was in Parks and Rec, but now I'm Sonic the Hedgehog. And he does this thing and all that stuff. And it's funny, and it's cool, and it's just, here's the thing, man. I don't want to watch the Outer Worlds 2 Direct because I'm already sold on the Outer Worlds 2. I played the Outer Worlds 1. I kind of know what to expect here, and I'm just going to play the game when it comes out. This is one of those games where I'm not so invested that I'm like, yes, show me all the things you got in store for Outer Worlds 2. It's one of those games where I'm more like, yeah, I'm definitely going to play that game the day it comes out, but I don't really care about it enough to like watch everything about it. Like I'll just play it and be surprised and have the secrets unfold themselves to me as I experience the game in October when it's out. So that I left it on the background while I continued to take some notes, but I really didn't like watch it. I just whatever. Outer Worlds 2, whatever. That was cool. Overall, I think this showing, the event was like a C+. You got new hardware, but the asterisk with it is it's not really new hardware. It's someone else's hardware with like an Xbox overlay. You got tons of great game announcements. Really, the third-party support here is very strong and very exciting. And so from that standpoint, it's really like a showing from the third-party support standpoint. But then it's like, where are the Xbox games? Where are the updates? Where are the games that you've already shown us? In some cases, 3 or 4 times. Like, where are these games, dude? Like, stop. Like, you can only get away with this for so long before people are going to be like, seriously, what the fuck are you doing? So that's the problem. It's like Xbox has had a great output this year. They have a great output for the latter half of the year. It looks like they have a great output for 2026. It looks like there's just tons of stuff shaking and moving over on Team Xbox. But like, you can't announce these like 6 or 7 first-party games. In some cases as early as like 2019, 2020. And then just fuck off for 7 years. Be like, I'm Phil Spencer. I lost weight. I look great now. It's like, come on, man. Where are the fucking games? So I say like a C+ because technically it was a great showing. They're great games. I look at the list. I'm like, hey, there's like 5 or 6 games here that I'm pretty into. Like, I think there's enough here that I'm going to be eating well. As always, as I always say, like, say what you will about Xbox. I still think I'm getting incredible value. I'm playing great games. I'm never running out of things that are keeping me interested on that platform. It's a great place for me to continue to invest my time and my money as a gamer into that ecosystem. So I'm good. I'm set. And this showcase did a great job of giving me more reasons to continue to believe that I'm good and I'm set and Xbox is a great place to play games. But I just can't get super hyped and excited about the imminent future of Xbox when I'm just wondering, like, what the fuck's going on with Perfect Dark? Can't be that perfect, right? Can't be that perfect if it's been 26 years. I hadn't even gotten through puberty yet when you first announced the game, and here I am, 7 kids and a geriatric back later, and it's the game. Where's the game? So it's just, that's kind of like my long and short of it. It is technically a pretty good showing. I'm just a little disappointed that I think they kind of managed the portfolio in a poor manner, and that this showcase should have included a lot of things that were just conspicuously absent. And while I think it's cool, my theory that they're going to come out real strong in 2026 and be like, the 25th anniversary of Xbox, here's Gears of War, here's Halo, here's Perfect Dark, here's Fable. It doesn't really excuse you for like just kind of not showing up in the way you need to show up now, today, here, during your 2025 showcase. So again, I'll re-highlight the things that I really hoped and expected to see by now. In most cases, I expected a release dates for, and that were just totally absent from the showcase. Gears of War E-Day, State of Decay 3. I'll skip the Elite controller and the Sabile controller. Whatever. Clockwork Revolution, they got that. Possible Halo Combat Evolved trailer. I'll leave that out because that was a shot in the dark. Double Fine, we got a new Double Fine game, so that's cool. Okay, Everwild re-reveal. That's number 3. Contraband. I said Contraband is vaporware. I'm counting that as number 4 because here we are, proving me right. Perfect Dark should be shown. That's number 5. Fable, that's number 6. Elder Scrolls 6, that's number 7. OD, that's number 8. And Toys for Bob, that's number 9. So 9 games that we know about. In some cases, we've seen these games 3 or 4 times, and they're just nowhere to be seen. It's like you can't have 9 announced games that are just missing in action. You just can't do that. I understand if some of them are missing. I understand, we didn't get Toys for Bob's new game. Okay, take another year. We're not ready yet. But what's the excuse for Fable, a game that was supposed to come out this year? And now it's not only not coming out this year, it's also just absent from your showcase. What's going on? Where's State of Decay 3 been? It's been years since we last saw it. What is going on? So again, whatever. I'll shut up. I'll leave it alone. But like, it's just half of those games were included in this announcement. I would have been like, that was an A+ showing. But it's just like, you can't have your heaviest hitters. You can't have a concert where, you go to see the fucking Beatles and all the opening acts are phenomenal, but then the Beatles don't play any other big. The Beatles is the worst example because every song they have is a hit. You can't go to the Nickelback concert and it's like, oh man, the opening acts were awesome. They had Shinedown, they had fucking 3 Days Grace, and then Nickelback gets on there and they're just like, we're not playing Photograph, we're not playing Rockstar. It's like, what are you talking about? You're Nickelback, So it's like you can't lean on your third parties to do all the heavy lifting for you. That Black Ops 7 key art though looks really fucking sick, dude. Sorry, I'm just looking at my computer while I'm talking. All right, I want to read. We're not going to do comments today, but I am going to read one comment because Cronky wrote in like immediately after the show because he was just fucking jizzing to talk about Xbox here. But I wanted to read his comment in conjunction with his predictions comment that he wrote in a few days ago, just to kind of show just to kind of give another perspective of what people were expecting versus what we got, So Cronky wrote in like 3 or 4 days ago and said, here are my predictions for the showcase. Fallout Season 2 for some reason. Fable finally gets gameplay. No Everwild. No Double Fine. No State of Decay 3. Yes, Perfect Dark. Yes, Gears of War E-Day. Contraband? Never heard of it. Yes, the handheld shows up. No Elite Series 3 controller. No Halo. One big surprise new title no one saw coming, and a handful of indies. One Hail Mary prediction, Raven makes Hexen, and I am happy. So that's actually a pretty good set of predictions because I'd say you got more than half of them right, to be honest, Cronky. But here's what you wrote in just minutes after the showcase. You wrote, okay, so now that the game showcase is over, I gotta say the lack of updates on already announced games was lame. But a lot of the announcements and games shown were solid. Resident Evil 9, that's Summer Games Fest, Outer Worlds, Clockwork Revolution, Keeper, Stranger Than Heaven, Blood of Dawn Walker, Chronos, etc. Lots of cool stuff. The fishing in the fishing in Fallout 76 made my brain hurt though. Fishing will do that to you. It'll make your fucking, like Henry Winkler says in King of the Hill. It's like a washing machine for your brain. It gets all the negative thoughts cleaned and ready to go. Anyway, just again, like, things like the Fallout Season 2, like, not being shown. It's like, yeah, who cares about that, right? No Halo shown. Okay, whatever. Like, we can understand these things. But, like, really? No Everwild, no State of Decay, no Perfect Dark, no Gears of War. It's just, it's crazy to me. But Yeah, Cronky, thank you for writing in. I'm very curious to hear y'all's thoughts on this event. Were you happy? Were you disappointed? What'd you like? What'd you dislike about it? This is one of those times where it's not like YouTube engagement. I'm not like, tell me what you thought in the comments below. Like, I genuinely want to hear this is a podcast built upon an interactive relationship between the host and the listeners. I want to hear, what did you guys think about this showcase? Because am I being too negative? I think giving this show a C+ rating is me being generous. My first blush was like maybe D+, C-. But giving it further inspection and thinking about the whole, the holistic nature of like how many games were shown, like the variety of games shown, how there's a little bit of something for everyone, that kind of stuff. I was like, okay, don't be that negative. It's like a C+. Am I being too negative? Let me hear your thoughts. I'm curious to think about that. And then we'll take a quick break here and hop into the Summer Game Fest announcements before we wrap up the show. And guys, I'm kind of like, I got to go this week because it's Sunday afternoon and I really want to wrap this shit up so I can play a little bit of Switch 2 before I got to go back to work next week. So guys, stop wasting my fucking time and let's get into the Summer Game Fest. All right, quick one here. While I was doing my water break there, I checked my phone, and it looks like some additional information on Black Ops 7, just because I'm excited about it. So now you have to be excited for it, too. Listen to how that works. Yeah, so it's a co-op campaign is what they're doing here. So you can play it solo. Calm down, Jesse, you fucking loser nerd. You can still play by yourself. But it is a co-op campaign they're offering. So it's probably, the intended way to play it. Interesting, because Black Ops 2... its whole thing was, the branching paths, this decision, the outcome kind of thing. So, that was what made that Black Ops a little different. Well, no, that was Black Ops Cold War. No, Black Ops 2 did that too. Come on, Jesse. But yeah, this one's whole thing is it has co-op campaign, which they've done that in Call of Duty in the past. I mean, World at War is the most famous one that's done that. Cool. I'll be interested to see how that works, but all new campaign, round-based zombies, new multiplayer map. So it's not, it is Activision Treyarch as the primary developers, who are the primary developers of Black Ops. But of course, all teams will be on board working on it. And, they do promise for it to be a complete separate package of zombies multiplayer and, campaign, as opposed to what Call of Duty Modern Warfare 3 was, where it was just like reskin maps of old Modern Warfare 2, new campaign, half-ass open world zombies. So they're promising a proper package, which is going to be super interesting to see how they do back-to-back years of Black Ops 6 and 7 when it's the same primary developers, even though all developers work on Call of Duty now. So be really interested to see if this feels more sloppy like Modern Warfare 3 did a few years ago, or if it's going to feel more like a complete package like Black Ops 6 did. So we'll see. We'll see how it goes. They promise more news this summer, probably during Call of Duty Next, so I'm really looking forward to that. But guys, let's hop into Summer Games Fest 2025. So I'm going to do this one a little different because Jeff Keighley loves being long in the tooth and hyping up things that aren't big announcements and giving lots of spotlight to games that are PC only or whatever. We're going to kind of jump around and pick and choose the games that I want to talk about, because if we talked about every single game shown at the showcase in the order in which they were shown, I would blow my fucking brains out. So let's just be honest, there are games that are missing here that might be pretty fucking cool games, but my stupid brain just watched the showcase and picked out the games that I was personally interested in. So those are the games we're going to talk about. So hey, if you think there's something really important that I missed, feel free to write in and let me know. Be like, Jesse, how could you miss Anime Goo Gaga Tron 36, the Gundam's titty game that was shown at Summer Game Fest? That game's so cool. Oh, well, let me know. But anyway, here are the games I wanted to point out. So from Summer Game Fest, starting with Sonic Racing Cross Worlds, yeah, baby. Now, I predicted this game would show up at one of these events, and it makes sense for it to be at Summer Game Fest. So they showed it September 25th. That is the release date. So September 25th. So that means you got June, July, August, most of September, roughly 4 months of Mario Kart World before you gotta shift on over to Sonic Racing Cross Worlds, which I gotta be honest though, silliness aside, this game really does look fantastic. The last couple of these Sonic Racing games have been really good. They just keep getting better and better. And so like I'm not being cute when I say this. Like these are very competent kart racing games. Mario Kart might be the king, but in my opinion, these games are definitely worth playing if you're a fan of the genre. And this one looks particularly incredible, not just because some of the tracks are based around locations from Sonic Unleashed, which has me very hyped, and not just because the music sounds really fucking good, as it always does, but because they're kind of reintroducing some Sega characters back into the game. So earlier entries in this series used to be Sonic and Sega All-Star Racing, and then over time they shifted it more to just being Sonic and Friends, but now they're kind of going back into expanding the roster to include more Sega characters, and so it's really nice because it's not just like older Sega characters from like games that haven't been relevant in 20 years, but it's like modern Sega characters. So we got Ichiban from the new Like a Dragon games, the Yakuza games. We got Hatsune Miku. We got Joker from Persona 5. And then at the end of the trailer, they teased that there will be, and this isn't very Sega related. This is actually more Xbox related, but they announced that there will be some kind of Minecraft crossover DLC in-game event or something happening later. They'll share more information later, they said, but it's a DLC of some nature, and it is a Minecraft kart racing thing. It looks a lot more like Minecraft than it looks like a Minecraft character in Sonic Racing. So I don't really know what the fuck this is, but it sounds interesting, and I guess there's some good synergy between Microsoft and Sega here to allow Minecraft into the Sonic Racing franchise. But that was the first thing they showed. Trailer, September 25th release date, coming in a few months. I'm very excited for this game. I think it looks excellent, so I will definitely be picking this up on Xbox. But yeah, there we go. Sonic Racing Cross Worlds. So you got a nice kart racer on your Switch 2, and you got a nice kart racer on your Xbox Series console. There you go. Everyone wins. Next up, they showed Mouse PI for Hire. Now, we've been seeing this game for years at this point. It looked great then. It looks great now. It's that Doom-like boomer shooter that has that like black and white cartoon look where you play as the detective mouse guy with the fucking cigar in his mouth. And they announced this year, he's being voiced by Troy Baker. The character is being voiced by Troy Baker. Oh, that's so exciting. I love how every fucking character is voiced by Troy Baker. So that's fine. They made the joke about it, how they know it's always Troy Baker. So they made the self-aware comment. So that's cool, but they still don't have a firm release date for this game. They're saying later this year. So, man, I do want to play this game, but I just can't believe how long we've been seeing it without a date. But later this year, trailer looked good, game still looks good, still want to play it. Next up, we got a really pleasant announcement, a double hitter too, where we got Atomic Heart 2, the successor, the sequel to Atomic Heart, which came out, when did that come out? Early last year or early 23? I think it was early 23. Oh man, it's been a minute. But Atomic Heart 2, so they showed a nice hefty trailer, and I gotta be honest, a little confused because it didn't look very much like Atomic Heart. Like, it had characters and items and weapons and stuff that very much indicated it is Atomic Heart, like, no doubt about it. But like, I don't know, something about the world and the tone felt very different, felt very Far Cry for an Atomic Heart game. So this game feels like we're shifting more away from a BioShock influence and heading more into a Far Cry influence when I watched the trailer, but they even referred to it as a spiritual successor to Atomic Heart 1, which I thought was especially weird, especially because the trailer shows, I won't spoil it, but the trailer shows characters who, based on the narrative of the first game, I don't understand how they would be in this game. So I really don't understand what the story is here or how this lines up with the first game at all, and I'm curious to figure out what the fuck is going on here. However, from a gameplay perspective and everything, I am interested in going through another Atomic Heart game because I thought the first one had some room for improvement. It was definitely rough around the edges in some places, but was mostly a pretty great game. I actually really enjoyed it. So Atomic Heart 2 is a very welcome sequel, in my opinion, and I'm very much looking forward to that. Now, no date yet. It was really just more of a, hey, we're developing Atomic Heart 2, but I was shocked by the amount of gameplay they had to show for a game that doesn't have any kind of date whatsoever, but could have a lengthy, heavily gameplay-focused trailer. So this game is somewhere along the development pipeline where it's, far enough that we'll probably get a date in the next year or so. But that looked really good. And then they had another, so developer Mundfish, who makes Atomic Heart, immediately had another trailer to show, and it's for a game called The Cube, which is another Atomic Heart game, but it is an MMORPG shooter set in the Atomic Heart universe. Again, no release date for this project, just like Atomic Heart 2. But I thought this game, this MMORPG shooter game set in the Atomic Heart universe, I thought this looked a lot more like Atomic Heart 1 did than the Atomic Heart sequel trailer looked. So it looked and felt a lot more true to the franchise based on the first game. But yeah, this game also looks really cool. Now, do I have the time and propensity for another MMO style game? And God forbid, I'll be damned if that game would be Atomic Heart. Do I have the time and energy for that? No. But I would check this out. I'd be interested in playing a little bit of this. Like if it's a free to play MMO or something like that, I'll definitely spend a weekend with it and check it out. If it's something that's paid, maybe when it's on sale or something, I don't know. I don't know that I just don't know. We'll see how it kind of pans out when it's coming out, what that release schedule looks like, what it looks like with my availability and time at that time, the price point, all the things around it, what people are saying about it. But I'd be interested in trying this out. But Atomic Heart 2 is an easy yes, absolutely. I'll play that shit. I like Atomic Heart 2. I thought it was cool. Support Russian developers, man. We don't have very many of those. It's a rare thing. So I thought that was cool, getting that perspective and storytelling and creative output from a voice that is often quite randomly vilified by especially Americans, but Westerners in general. Just because again, it's like the China thing. It's like just because the Russian government sucks ass, just because Vladimir Putin is an archaic, totalitarian piece of shit human being, doesn't mean that the Russian people are bad people, or that the Russian artists and creatives don't have voices that need to be expressed and heard. So I very much is a fan of Atomic Heart and welcome bringing more of that voice into the picture of the gaming community, and would very much welcome an Atomic Heart sequel. So that was a really cool reveal, a really cool announcement at the show. Next, they showed a new trailer for Marvel Cosmic Invasion. Now, this game was announced 6 months ago or so. Really great looking side-scroller 2D pixel art Marvel superhero beat-em-up game made by the same people that made Ninja Turtles Shredder's Revenge. This game looks fantastic, and it just got a new trailer where they said, hey, it's coming out holiday 2025, and by the way, here are a couple of new characters that will be in the game that you haven't seen yet, and those two characters were She-Hulk and Rocket Raccoon from Guardians of the Galaxy. Both characters look totally fine. They said there's going to be 15 characters total, and that we've now seen, I think, like 7 or 8 of them, so there's a couple more characters to have revealed. But yeah, this game looks super badass. I will definitely be playing this game when it comes out, no doubt about that. So yeah, good to see a little bit more of that. Next up, they showed a new trailer for Onimusha, Way of the Sword. Now, this is, I think, the second time we've seen this game. Now, this is notable because Onimusha has been kind of absent for, I think, 15 years or so at this point. So to get a new entry in the series is quite, it's pretty noteworthy. Now, this series is a lot more in line with like a Ninja Gaiden meets Dynasty Warrior type of thing. So even though, to those who might not be super familiar with the series, don't let its aesthetic fool you. This is not some Souls-like game. This is a lot more of a PS2 era style franchise, kind of making a comeback, and I welcome that. So coming in 2026, they showed the new trailer. It looks cool. These games aren't quite my game, so I don't think I'll play it, but I like to think that if this were like how games used to be 15, 20 years ago, and I had free time, and there was just more opportunity to try new games that you might not be interested in otherwise, I think there's a version of me that would try Onimusha and possibly even enjoy it, but just like, dude, I can't fucking take 2 steps without 5 new video games coming out that I want to play. So this isn't going to do it for me personally, but I am excited that this is happening for fans of the series. And I'm sure someone out there listening to this podcast is like, fuck yeah, new Onimusha. So good for you guys. Next up, Arc Raiders was shown again. I know this game is hotly anticipated. I feel like this is one of those random games where I thought only like gamer nerd people knew about this game, but I talked to normies who are anticipating like this game. This game has broken through to like the mainstream audiences, but Arc Raiders is, people are excited about this game, but official release date, October 30th. Really bad timing, Arc Raiders. There's a lot of Xbox games coming out around that time. How could you? But no, October 30th. So they showed a new trailer. They gave the new release date, and yeah, man, I think the game looks pretty cool. I don't know where I fall with this game. I feel like this is one where I want to play it, and I think I will play it. Probably not at launch, but at some point I will play this game. But I think it looks good. It's just man, it's just so busy all the time. There is talk about a soon to be released public beta for this game. But yeah, man, maybe I'll jump into that. Maybe it'll be a good way to get a taste for it before the game comes out during a busy holiday time period, and then and get to experience a little bit of it that way. But yeah, what is it? It's like a PvE shooter game, third person shooter. I don't know. It looks cool to me. I just again, it's like it's all the fucking time, man. The time. But yeah, good to see finally a release date on that. I thought that game was actually coming out sooner. For some reason, I thought originally it was supposed to come out in June or July. So it's actually a little later than I thought. But anyway, they announced 2 Lego games. One of them was Lego Voyagers. It's this cute brick building game, 2-player game. I don't really know what kind of game this was based on the trailer shown, but it looks cute, and it had a few little, I don't know, just had like a little chill Zen kind of tone to it. But the other Lego game that I'm more interested in was Lego Party, which is basically just knock off Mario Party like to a T, but for Lego, which I thought is a great idea. Also a great way to get something like Mario Party on platforms like Xbox and PlayStation. So yeah, Lego Party, that comes out sometime this year. Looks very cool in my opinion. I will not be playing it because I feel like Mario Party is one of those games where I always manage to play Mario Party, but I never own it. Like I've always, like I as a kid, I would rent them at Blockbuster, or you'd go to a friend's house and you play it, or someone would bring it over. But it's like that kind of game where I've never bought a Mario Party because I've never had any interest in owning a Mario Party game. But somehow it always finds its way to you where you get to play it. So I doubt Lego Party will be like that. If I want to play a game, I probably got to buy it. But just thought it'd be worth mentioning. It'll be on sale for like $5 when it's a year old. So. That's a good way to get some Mario Party for cheap. All right, next up, I know this was a big surprise, a big win for a lot of people. Lies of P Overture, the expansion DLC pack was announced, shown with a new trailer, and then released immediately right then and there. So it's out now. It's $30. Surprise lunch. I know people love Lies of P. This was a big Game Pass game a few years ago, and I'm sure a lot of people are really hyped to get into this. Lies of P is it's one of those Souls games. I tried to give it a go. I thought, hey, this one looks cool. Maybe it'd be a good way to get in the door. No, 20 minutes into the demo, and I was like, fuck this game. So, not for me, but I know people love this game very deeply, and so this is exciting to know you got more of it here with this $30 DLC that is out now. Next up, Mina the Hollower was shown. This is a game that's been announced for a while now. But I thought, yeah, it kind of went dark, I guess. I feel like this should have been out by now. But Mina the Hollower is the latest game from Yacht Club, the guys that make Shovel Knight. And here's the thing, man. Is like, this game looks good, technically. Like, I do want to play this game. Where's that 3D Shovel Knight game that you guys have been teasing? Because I really want to play that. This game looks like a Game Boy Color game. Like, this literally looks like a Zelda game from the Game Boy Color. It is... Let's see how they describe it. Castlevania inspired, action adventure game. So it's like, it's kind of like a Zelda meets Castlevania. I don't know if it'll be more Castlevania or more Zelda style, but it looks like a Game Boy Advance NES looking fucking Castlevania game. Yeah, maybe more NES than Game Boy Color. I'm an idiot. But anyway, it's nothing that I'm super excited about. I'm sure it's great just because Yacht Club just can't make a bad game. But it's like, come on, guys, where is that 3D Shovel Knight game you've been teasing? I want to fucking play that game, you know? But anyway, it does look good, and it is coming this year, so that's awesome. And so girl from Yacht Club came out, and she's like, I'm from Yacht Club. I'm like, fuck yeah, 3D Shovel Knight. And she's like, here's this NES game. I'm like, damn it. Anyway, next they showed up. No way. Hang on. There it is. Dying Light the Beast. I typed this wrong. It says Ying Light. I was like, there's no way that's the name of the game. Dying Light. Dying Light the Beast. This was announced last year, right? This is that like standalone DLC that it was a DLC but turned into a standalone game or standalone download. So I assume it'll be like a smaller game, like a Far Cry Blood Dragon type thing. It comes out August 22nd, so very soon. So this is a new Dying Light spin-off style game. That is another entry in the Dying Light series. So for those who care about Dying Light, here's more of it. I would say I'm more interested in this, but I haven't even played Dying Light 2 yet. I'm a little bit behind on the series. So I'm sure this is going to be great. It's just, again, it's just where am I going to find time for you in the whole grand scheme of things. But it looks cool. I know people love Dying Light. They love their Dying Light. The first one was really good. I can speak to that game. And so there's more Dying Light. And then next up, they showed a game that I'm very interested in playing, but I'm still waiting for that release date. And I'm a little upset that they showed it and then didn't give a firm date. But good news, it is coming out in 2025. It is a Game Pass game, so there you go. Game Pass 2025. I'll play it. I'm just waiting for a date. But that game is Mixtape. It is that they showed it at one of the Xbox showcases, I think, a year or so ago. But man, this game looks really good. It's that I don't even know how you describe this. It's they describe it as a coming of age adventure game from Annapurna Interactive. It's that game where it's like the teenagers, like that kind of like endless summer coming of age vibe. It's like the kids and they're staring up at the stars, leaning on the car, skating around, running around, and it's got like the really good soundtrack with like fucking the Cars and Devo and all that shit. And it looks really cool. It's a very like story narrative driven game. I'm expecting it to be like a 4 to 5 hour kind of game. And it has like this like 22 frame kind of animation thing going on with a really unique art style. It looks like a 80s coming of age story kind of game, like a Ferris Bueller type game. It's got like it's got like a really star-studded soundtrack. It's got like The Cure and all that shit. And it just looks really cool. So I like the vibe of this game is good. It's got that like kids in a suburban town like the Pacific Northwest during like fall season in the late 80s, early 90s kind of feel to it. It's like, okay, this is going to be like a feel good kind of narrative game experience, and I'm all for it. So very much been looking forward to this game since it was announced. Still waiting on a date, but sometime this year, day one Game Pass, I'm fucking ready for it. Let's go. All right, next up, speaking of games I'm super excited about, Scott Pilgrim EX was announced. So, oh boy, this is cool. So yeah, Scott Pilgrim EX is a brand new Scott Pilgrim video game developed by Tribute Games with some key creators from the original 2012 game that Ubisoft put out back in the day. So this was an out of left field reveal. This game will come out to PlayStation consoles in early 2026, I think they said. Right? Or no, they just said 2026. They didn't give a time. So sometime next year. But it is a sequel to the first game. It is a side-scrolling beat-em-up with retro pixel art, several playable characters, exploring different levels. They say a non-linear Toronto map inspired by classic games like River City Ransom. So it'll be a little different to see. Up to 4-player co-op locally and online. And yeah, it's a continuation of the Scott Pilgrim Takes Off anime series that Netflix put out a year or two ago, which I thought was kind of disappointing. I didn't like it nearly as much as the manga or the movie from 15 years ago. But I did like it. The animation was really good, and the game looks really fun. And the most important thing in all of this is that Anna Monoguchi has returned to do the soundtrack, so I'm super hyped to have more Anna Monoguchi music. Which is crazy because this year they're already working on a new album that comes out in a few months. So we got a new Anna Monoguchi record coming out in a few months, and then sometime in 2026 they'll have this Scott Pilgrim sequel video game with a unique soundtrack. So really grateful for all that. I'll definitely be playing this game when it comes out next year. So that's a really great surprise. And then they showed off a couple other things. Mind's Eye. Now, I think Mind's Eye looks good. I know this game's been kind of like controversial for a little bit now. It's been in the news a lot lately. So this is the game that's being produced by Leslie Benzi, the longtime producer of Grand Theft Auto. And it is a new studio that called Build a Rocket Boy, which is Leslie Benzi's studio. And it has a lot of ex-Grand Theft Auto people working on it. It is a team of about 500 people. And they have a lot of ex-Grand Theft Auto talent on it. And the game is very Grand Theft Auto coded. It is a near future open world game that looks and plays very much like a Grand Theft Auto game, but it's not comedic. It's not satirical. It looks like it's very serious. But I think this game looks really fun. It looks like an Xbox 360 era AA kind of game that's like supplemental to all the big shit you're looking forward to. And I think it looks really fun. It's something I would 100% play. In fact, if Switch 2 didn't just come out and I was looking for something to kind of, something new to look at, I would actually buy this game day one. It comes out Tuesday, June 10th, the day after this podcast goes live. It comes out very imminently. It's being published by IO Interactive, the guys that make that are making 007, James Bond First Light, as well as what am I trying to say? Hitman. So this game looks really good in my opinion. I've seen some YouTube videos where apparently the game is not running great and desperately needs a delay. And it just doesn't look like it's 100% there, which is really disappointing to hear because I think there's a huge opportunity for a Grand Theft Auto-like game to come out around now and kind of clean up while people are just hotly anticipating GTA 6. And this game, I think, could really be that game, but it just seems like the public's reaction to it is the game looks cringy, blah, 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 because people have, like, no propensity or capacity anymore for, like, AA schlocky action shit, which makes me so sad. It's like, why are we like that, dude? Like, I don't understand people. It's like, does every fucking game need to either be the most whimsical Mario Bros. Game or the most serious Last of Us God of War game? Like, can we not have something firmly in the middle where it's just Black Ops 2, where it's some schlocky ass, like, dude with a gun's gonna save the world from the evil corporation? Like, we can have that, guys. That's okay. That shit's fun. I just went to the movie theater 2 weekends ago and I saw the new Mission Impossible, and that movie was fucking awesome because it had incredible action and badass set pieces. And the movie was silly because it was about stopping this enemy AI from taking over the world and turning humanity against each other. But guess what? It was believable in the context of the movie, and it was super fun. And I had 2.5 hours of jam-packed action and was glued to the fucking theater screen the whole time, enjoying the hell out of that movie. And I just don't understand why we have done this weird thing in gaming where we have pushed away from this kind of stuff where it's like, some like B-movie action shit. We can't have that. It's like, why? Because you got to have some fucking, it's this Japanese game where you have a sword and you only get better by studying the attack patterns of your greatest enemies. It's like, dude, shut the fuck up, man. Where is the love for a game like this? I look at this, and even though it's very much plays and looks like a Grand Theft Auto style game, it reminds me of some really beloved games from the Xbox 360 era, like Star Wars The Force Unleashed, Army of Two, 40th Day, and stuff like that, where it's just like, this is like that stuff you play in between your Halos and your BioShocks and your Gears of Wars and your Mass Effects, right? You play these AA, they're full price, they have about as much entertainment and content as those really AAA games, but they're a little rough around the edges, and they're kind of slapped together in some way, and you can tell they don't have quite the budget and development team and effort that, like, the GTAs have and all that, but you have a great time, you appreciate it for what it is, and you just kind of add it under your belt of gaming experiences. And I just feel like we've really lost that in gaming. It's like everything has to be, it's super creative and indie, or like, it's super whimsical Nintendo, or like, it's super serious and dreadful like Sony. And it's like, if you're not doing like a Sony or like a Nintendo or like the best indie developer, it's basically like a big old middle finger. And that's kind of where Xbox takes a brunt of the, like, the verbal attacking online. Is like, I feel like Xbox is real big on this like B-movie action shit. And that's where they just take a lot of beating. It's like, are you sure, Xbox, that you're not going to tell a story about the Kong Dynasty? It was so cool when the pottery came to life and grew arms and limbs, and they spent 34 hours studying its body language so I could attack it at just the right moment. It's like, fucking weirdo, dude. Go play fucking Elden Souls, or go play one of those games where, like, the daughter dies and you have to kill the hospital workers or something, you fucking freak. You fucking PS5 Pro owning freak of nature. Anyway, so that's Mind's Eye. I think it looks good. That is a cautious, like, definitely look at the reviews though when it comes out, because I have seen some stuff from, like, previews from YouTube videos and stuff where, like, the game needs a little help. It's not quite ready yet. But if the game is able to launch in a pretty stable state, it looks like it'd be a pretty fun little AA B-movie adventure. So anyway, speaking of that, let's round out with a couple more games, 3 more games here to get through. Next up, Splitgate 2 was shown. Now, Splitgate 2 is actually out. It's been out for like a week now, and we've known about this game for a while. But the reveal they had, the big news they had, was that a Battle Royale mode is coming to Splitgate 2. And it's out now. So I thought that was pretty cool. So I actually went ahead and tried it. I played a little Splitgate 2 this weekend. So we'll talk about it next week on the what I've been playing. But I've been having a little bit of fun with Splitgate. Thought it was cool that it was getting a Battle Royale mode. Thought it was cool that Splitgate was kind of getting a second wind with a new entry in the series. But yeah, that was announced and released imminently. And the guy on stage was a little cringy, but a little endearing. He's like, I want Titanfall 3. I miss Halo. That's why we made Splitgate. I'm like, okay, buddy. But yeah, it's a good time, and I'm enjoying playing it. So we'll talk about it next week. But Splitgate 2 is out now, and it has a battle royale mode. So that was the next announcement, and then they showed what possibly the coolest game they showed. Although I guess I'm kind of high on Summer Game Fest between this game and some of the other games they just announced or talked about. But they showed Project Century, which it was a working title for a new game from RGG Studios, the guys that make Yakuza and Like a Dragon. So Project Century is a game they announced last year, but now it has an official title called Stranger Than Heaven. And it is this new Yakuza-style video game set in Japan in like the 1900s. Or no, it's set in like the 1800s. Wait. Which one am I thinking of? Nope. This is the one that takes place like 1940s Japan. I'm sorry. And it's like this fucking like Chicago mobster shit, but with the Yakuza in the early 1900s, and it looks super cool. And there's no release date for it, unfortunately, but it looks really fucking cool. I mean, Yakuza games are cool enough on their own, but this one looks especially unique, and I love when they do these kinds of like one-off different kind of games that aren't technically Yakuza but are kind of like in that vein. This one just looks super awesome, and so very interested to play this game one day if I ever catch up on my Yakuza games. They make them faster than I can play them, but it looks really, really good, and I hope that does well, because I want to keep encouraging these guys to do this kind of shit. They just keep making awesome games, although I want them to slow down. I can't keep up, but I hope this game does well, just because it looks very unique, very interesting, and very fun. But then there was one more game that they kind of closed out the show with, and I think this is easily the biggest game of the night, which was Resident Evil 9, which is technically called Resident Evil Requiem. Now, I was a little confused by this because, yeah, while it looks cool, I like Resident Evil. I played Resident Evil 7 and 3 Remake and stuff. And while I think this looks cool and I'm excited for Resident Evil fans, I was a little confused because, to me, it looked like it was another first-person Resident Evil game a la Resident Evil 7 or 8. But from what I'm hearing based on this, they're like, no, this is like an evolution in the Resident Evil formula. So I'm like, what is this? Like open world Resident Evil? Like what are they doing to make it so different? But then they didn't get into any specifics and really talk about it beyond that. So other than just say like, hey, it's coming out in 2026. So it should come out next year. So I'm very interested in learning more about that, just because I'm like, well, what are they doing to evolve the formula? I mean, Resident Evil 7 was an evolution of this series, but I just don't understand what it could be doing. It has a new character, a new protagonist. It's FBI agent Grace. So it's not, Ethan or whatever, those returning characters. They say that it's a celebration of part of the 30th anniversary of Resident Evil, but I don't know if the game itself is, or if like the release of the game is going to be that. I don't know what they mean by that. I'm just trying to see if there is a Yeah, I mean, there's nothing here in like the official release that says like what about it is different. But anyway, it's obviously exciting. People love Resident Evil. People are waiting for the next one. And while we keep getting these remasters and remakes, people are also always excited for the next proper entry in the series. And so here we go. Resident Evil Requiem, or Resident Evil 9, comes out next year. And that right there is the Summer Games Fest. I thought this was, my expectations are in check, because especially Summer Games Fest. I mean, Game Awards is usually better, but Summer Games Fest is usually pretty mid to me. Like, it's usually always like pretty weak. But I thought between Sonic, Atomic Heart, Arc Raiders, Marvel, Cosmic Invasion, Mixtape, Scott Pilgrim, Mind's Eye, Splitgate, Resident Evil, I was like, okay, there's some good stuff. Now, keep in mind, I left out a shit ton of announcements. A lot of them were just so mind-numbingly boring. But there's enough games here that like the event was, it was solid. Again, like, I mean, for Summer Game Fest, like, whatever, I'll give it a C by Summer Game Fest standards. And did I enjoy watching the event? Fuck no. If it weren't for this podcast, honestly, I probably just wouldn't even watch stuff like Summer Game Fest. I would just read the headlines, because I think these events are so boring. Like, Xbox's showcase is so much fun, but like Summer Game Fest, usually pretty fucking boring. But anyway, I thought it was, one of the better years, but I pretty much think every year Summer Game Fest it should be called Summer Bore Fest. Oh man, I'm so funny. But yeah, that's Summer Game Fest. That's the Xbox Games Showcase in a nutshell. Man, I wish we had some comments to wrap up with, but I didn't take online and ask anyone to write in and like reply to a tweet or something with their opinion. So I don't have any of that yet to go off of. So we will get into it next week, but you guys let me know what you thought about everything. The Summer Game Fest, the Xbox Game Showcase, I mean, that's it, dude. It's that reveal season. It's that time of year where we just get all these game showcase events and everything, and it's that weird juxtaposition of like all these games are announced and shown, but then no games are released. So it's like all this hype mess met with like no I guess no like content actually. Although this summer seems a little busier than usual. We got kind of a couple games in July, Nintendo out here with releasing a console in June, so a little busier than usual for summer months. But yeah, definitely lots of exciting announcements, lots of games to look forward to, and then some disappointments in there as well. But we'll focus on the positivity and not the negativity. Anyway, I think with that, we're going to wrap it up. I'm going to start ending this puppy so we can get it out for all you guys to listen to on Monday morning. And yeah, so remember, no Xbox on Thursday. But then next week, we'll be back to our regular shit. So there's going to be a little bit of a gap between the next two episodes. So nothing on Thursday the 12th. And then we'll be back on Thursday the 19th to talk about all the shit that's happened between now and then, which I assume will be quite a bit of announcements. Just because there's usually a lot of like, after these events, there's a lot of follow-up. There's a lot of like, developer of blah 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 has confirmed that the character is actually a gay idiot and that the game is canceled. And it's like, oh, okay, that's a huge update. Let's talk about that. So we'll have, I'm sure, plenty of news to discuss next time we meet. But until then, please be good. Leave some comments. Rate the podcast. Let me know what you guys thought about today's events. And your feedback, as always, is welcome and appreciated. So until next week, be good, grill your meat, stay out of the street, and power your dreams.